Howdy, everybody. It's me, Ben, and once again, I'm joined by my good buddy Ian. How you doing, Ian?
I'm pretty good, and I want my damn peanut.
Well, you don't get a peanut, Ian. You have to go back to your pen now. Look what you've done. And joining us this week is Ian's friend. I don't recall if I caught your name.
It's Nate Dog.
That'll work.
I knew a Nate Dog in college. He was all right. You're not in relation to Snoop Dogg, are you?
Oh man, you caught me. I'm so sorry.
Is he back to Snoop Dogg yet, or is he still like Snoop Lion? Because I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
we didn't talk about that the last time. He was thinking about changing to Sea Lion, and then I'm like,
well, you know, underneath the sea, yeah, sea lab underneath. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear about Apple's trying to buy those Beats?
Oh, the Beats by Dre? Yeah, I'd heard about that. I don't know. I personally don't know anybody that has Beats, but I guess they're a thing with the kids. I mean, the thing is, like, since I'm 31 now, I've well past that adage of don't trust anyone over 30, so I can say old man stuff now. It's fine. And so when I'm referring to, you know, the people that, like, TV is meant for and music is for now, they're the kids. So it's totally fine to be in old man mode now, Ian. It's pretty nice.
So
a little weird.
I know one person that has them, and he says they're too loud. Like, they're supposed to have a speaker on each side instead of just one. But they're like $200-something last time.
Word. So, yeah, so, I don't know. I think we should probably start the show with, Ian, you've got some news for us for the week, don't you?
Yes, I do, but I have some news of my own.
Oh, no, you're not pregnant, are you? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
It's way more important than any news article I'm going to give, and it's that I finally got a 12-pack of Baja Blast Mountain Dew.
I didn't get a 12-pack. At Walmart, I only saw it in the overly large cans. Like, they were selling those for like $1 each, or like 3 for $2, or 2 for $3, something weird. I was like, that's not really a deal. I'd just buy the one. So, yeah, I got one. It's sitting in my fridge. But I'm not going to drink it till I drink some stuff I don't want to drink. I got some tart cherry juice, which, you know, with the gout, because like I said, I'm an old man, so I've been dealing with that. I've been trying to drink that, and I don't care about cherries. Like, I've never been a cherry drinking guy. It's like, you know, when I get the sundae and you get that one, cherry or whatever, it's like, okay, that's all right. But it's like, hey, you want the cherry Coke? No, just regular, be fine, man. Never. Like, my brother used to drink that Welch's grape soda, and I'm like, I've never really cared for grape soda either. So it's like, I don't know.
Hey, you must hate that Code Red, man.
I've never had the Code Red. I have the Live Wire, but since I cut out drinking soda except for Baja Blast when I go to Taco Bell, and now it's like, well, they've got this big can of it. I've got to drink it at some point. It's not a dark cola, so it's probably not as bad as like straight up Coke or Dr. Pepper or Pepsi or something. At least that's what I tell myself when I'm crying into my juice drink.
Ben's crying into sparkling water.
Well, it's like I got all these different, like, they had a sale a while ago on Sobe, and I got a bunch of packets of it, and then it's like, oh hey, I got the gout, and I can't, I cut down soda to try and, get rid of the whole high fructose corn syrup, because everything has it.
Including Stretch Armstrong.
Well, yeah. I had one of those one time when he stretched him, and then I think somebody popped him, and he just oozed the goo out. You think, you're like, oh, this is gonna be great, but then it's like, no, that stuff's sticky and it just sticks to everything. It's like, why did we do this? What did we think would come of this? Now this big expensive toy my parents bought is useless, and he's covered in goo. Hooray! So,
well,
anyway,
since when did kids take care of their toys?
When they become older and sell them on eBay to men who never had them as children. Like, that's the thing. I've seen, like, the the grown guys with like the man cave full of like action figures, like they get the whole set of stuff they never got as kids, and it's like, I don't know. When I got like old enough to be able to afford toys of my own, I just quit being interested in toys, and I don't know. I was never much of an action figure and toy kind of guy. I was more into cartoons and comics kind of stuff, so.
Right. Well, Nate, he does like to collect toys, but
I sell them to people.
He sells them, but he has like some that are worth like a couple $100, so he's trying to make money off of them, you know.
Well, like the 40-year-old virgin where they decide to sell all those toys. Like, you have like $2 million. Like, we gotta get ourselves some toys. Mm-hmm. Because basically, like, the cycle is, it's like every like 20 years, stuff that was popular comes back. So it's like, you know, if you had something that was a big thing for kids and when they were like 9, when they're like 20 years old, it's like, I remember this thing and I want to relive my childhood because new kids, they suck and my generation was the best. You know, we've talked.
How it works.
We talked about that before when, like, they said the best music you ever heard was the music when you were 15 because that's when you were most impressionable. I don't know how I feel about that because
I didn't listen to hardly any music when I was a teenager.
Well, it's like I think when I was 15 it was just post grunge, and that was when like they were trying to figure out what was going to be the next big thing. There was the swing thing, and there was the, you know, a whole bunch of other things. And it's like, well, I mean, I was probably like 11, 13 when grunge hit, and that was supposed to be the big thing of the generation. I don't have any idea. I wasn't really big on grunge either. it was kind of like depressing punk.
You didn't like wearing the teenagers where it's like it's tore at the bottom?
Well, it's like the thing was, is like I was like the 11 or 12-year-old kid, and like grunge was really more for like if you were like 15, 17 at the time. So it's like when you're that young, I've got issues, man. My parents, man, they don't understand me. They give me allowance and everything, but you know, they don't get me. You know, as the Fresh Prince said, parents just don't understand.
People just don't get me. I'm a grunge 45-year-old.
Oh, man. So, how's the 12-pack of Baja going there, Ian?
Make that an 11-pack.
But, yeah. Actually, I had one last night, so, and I'm having one now, so it's a 9-pack that's been
going fast.
Drank yet. Yeah.
Or as we call it, a long weekend.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm glad you're approving. Didn't they say on like the cans that it's like a limited thing for the at least the canned versions? I think. I don't know.
And Nate seems to think that I should keep them and sell them later.
Well, I mean,
I had a friend and he bought 3 cases of the first voting for the Mountain Dew. They had the 3 flavors. He made $2,000 off that.
well, I mean, I've been to like flea markets. Well, they'll have like 1987 Coke bottles with Coke in them, and I'm just like, there's gonna be a guy who buys that and decides to try it. Because I've seen guys on the internet try Billy Beer, New Coke, Crystal Pepsi, long after. I mean, there was that video for a while back of the kid trying like a 25-year-old beer. He's like, that beer is older than he is. It had one of those pull tabs. Like, they haven't made those in a long time. And he chugs it and he throws it in, like, how'd it taste? Like, you know how that beer tastes.
Well,
that beer could have been to college.
Yeah. Well, I'm not like a chemist or anything, so I don't know why things are more healthier for you if they're aged or whatever than others, like wines or whatever.
Well, it's like the way they store it. Like the Billy Beer, Ian and I watch a lot of that Brad Tries on the Cinema Snob site, and he had the Billy Beer, and they tasted it, but they didn't swallow because the can had rust in it. So that's kind of a sign. His first bottle of Crystal Pepsi that he found, it was yellow because it was like the diet, which had no preservatives. So obviously it just turned like. But I don't know. I don't know. When stuff gets older, like foodstuffs, they don't last. Like I mentioned to Ian that Ashens likes to pull out some old foods sometimes. He gets weird world foods, and then he gets like old foods that people send him. Someone sent him like a survival pack from Vietnam, and then someone sent like there was in Northern Ireland, there was this grocery store that shut down for like 30 years. And they went in and they found like boxes of food that hadn't been touched. So, yeah, stuff like that. And then he gets like the stuff from America, and he's like, "Oh, it's got corn syrup in it. Yep, it's American." I'm just sitting there like, he's like, "I've never tried Cheese Whiz." I'm like, "Really?" As American, I'm just like, I feel bad that I have a total like when he's biting into a peep, going, "I'm really kind of curious what this is going to taste like," and I'm just like, I know it without even. I haven't had one in like 10 years. I can still tell you exactly what they taste like because they're peeps. You know, they're making a peep movie.
Are you kidding me?
Yep, they're making a Pete movie. They're also making a Mrs. Doubtfire too. So, you know, all bets are off, folks. I mean, I guess after you make the Battleship movie, I guess everything's up for grabs. So,
But what are they gonna do with the Mrs. Doubtfire movie? It's like they already know it's him. So is he just cross-dressing at this point?
well, I mean, I mean, they can't make the movie and not have him go into drag. So I'm sure it's going to be like maybe it's like a crime thing. You know, maybe they're going to do like Big Mama's House, and he's going to have to like go undercover somewhere. Because I mean, I don't think he could pull that scam on his own family again. That's expecting too much. You know, like I mean, you know, like Die Hard, he can go up against different criminals and stuff, but it's like he's not going against the same guy again. They're like, I know this guy. You know, it's like.
Well, they could do it where he does like, he dresses up as that and does like other babysitting gigs, and then maybe comes across some crime, like you said, you know, gets caught up in it.
Or he could change his outfit, or he could like adopt new kids and then trick them after he divorces his new wife.
Well, I mean, the thing is with those movies, it's like, you know, just like with the Big Mama's House movies, is every reviewer has a problem with them that they have these, like, CGI special effects, and then it's like, you know, they just unzip the back or something and the whole costume pops off. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, you can't just believe that this guy's, you know, like, a costume that would come off you like that, it'd be like, would you mistake that for a woman and want to go have sex with it? No! And yet...
Yeah. Then again, some actors are, like, what's the name, Martin Lawrence or whatever, are better at pulling off like different characters and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When you know, like dressing up or whatever. I don't know.
Fat suit. It's just, you know, what is it? Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. You know, it's like
Eddie Murphy, him too. Yeah.
There's just a number of, you know, black actors that are known for wearing a fat lady suit. And I remember, was it Dave Chappelle? He did, you know, he was really upset when they wanted to, in a movie or something or a show, they wanted him to dress in a dress, and he's like, no, that's what they do to take the power from you. Is that, you know, whenever a black man gets successful, they always want to put him in a dress to meet him and bring him down. And like, you know, they're like, David, we really want you to wear the dress. He's like, I'm not doing it. All right, well, okay, fine, then we got this other. He's like, so you finally had something after all this pushing, you know.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday Night Live, they had Kenan Thompson and a bunch of other guys wearing the dress because they're like, you know, whatever, we'll wear the dress because, you know, we're wearing a dress right now, but we're going to be banging your girlfriend later, so.
Yeah. Well, the point, though, is that some people, like, are good with doing roles because they have to do multiple characters, you know, on the sets and stuff, and not everybody can do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they don't want to pay extra people. Because they're cheap.
Yeah.
Like always.
Well, Eddie Murphy, I'm sure if you gave him the time and the effects, he would do an entire movie by himself. I mean, he's done half the cast of most movies he's in, so.
Yeah.
So.
Like the clumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna mention you were talking about Brad tries. It was we were trying to look for the main page because I told him about the Mountain Dew Cheetos, and he really wants to try that. So
I tracked some down, and they were like $5. So I'm thinking about it.
Mountain Dew Cheetos. I think McDonald's is supposed to be doing seasoned fries now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So. But bringing us into the news now.
That was news in my world.
My sad, lonely world. So, what do you got for us this week, Ian?
Okay, the first article is about CG Hub. I came across the from the developers of CGHub.com, a new improved website for CG industry professionals is in the works. They got a Kickstarter going to, like the developers want to do a new improved website for us. So I'll just link that in the chat here for you and peoples of the world to check out.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of people would like to see CG Hub come back, you know.
Well, I mean, the thing is, sites like that, you know, like if you have a big crowd when you're around, that's great and people miss it. But you've already got the lightning in the bottle, and then the next time it's like, oh, but we brought the site back. Everybody come back now. And they're like, no, man, it's cool. I'm here already. I'm somewhere else now. I'm on the Tumblr, you know. So, yeah. I don't know if, I mean, it'll probably be different people, because if you were on CG Hub and you got burned by them suddenly going away, I don't know.
You're not gonna want to come back.
Yeah, I was reading a magazine the other day, and they were publishing, like, oh, here's all these social sites to go to, and they mentioned CG Hub, and I'm like, well, yeah, this got printed before all that happened. I wonder how this article would read very differently. If it's like, oh, yeah, you can start up on these sites for free or pay for these sites, and it's like, yeah, or they can totally disappear, and you can lose all your artwork and contacts. And
yeah. Well, here's a quote from the Kickstarter page. It says, we need a new site that will be set up in such a fashion that it will be owned by the developer, CG community, representatives, and potentially investors. This way it will not be shut down without a warning like CG Hub was. So
that thing that we did before that you totally didn't like, we're not going to do it again, guys. Totes for real. Yo.
For real.
Word.
But, yeah, I mean, people, they were definitely, I mean, there was like a lot of speculation on what happened, and everybody was all upset about it, you know. That's all.
Aliens. Ancient aliens.
Yeah.
They hit the Control-Alt-Delete, and they didn't hit the Control-Alt-Delete.
Oh, man. So, what's the next story we got, Ian? I mean, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt, but we'll see how that goes, because a lot of sites, you know, if you don't hit the ground running, it's like, well, you missed your opportunity. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, this next one, it was I think it was last Saturday, not the Saturday 2 days ago, but the Saturday before that. Asteroid HL129 squeaked by Earth on Saturday at a distance that was even closer than our own moon. It may have been almost 200,000 miles away, but it raises a lot of valid concerns about the number of devastating asteroids that continue to fly past our vulnerable planet. So, I mean, everybody could have just died on Saturday, I guess, you know.
Well, I mean, we could all die at any point in time, you know, because, you know, the amount of people that are actively watching the skies and paying attention to if anything's coming towards us, yeah, it's kind of small. I mean, NASA every once in a while, they'll be like, oh, hey, there's this huge one that's coming by, but it's not going to hit us. But we're going to tell you how big it is and how close it's going to get. Just 'cause. But, you know, don't worry about it, guys, you know. So
I want to know how they name them. Like HL129. Couldn't you have come up with a lot cooler name than that?
Well, I mean, some things they sell the naming of things, you know. Like that was that crowdfunding people that named that one planet Vulcan because they really wanted to have a Vulcan. It's like, well, what if it's a dead planet that you're naming it that? And it's like, yeah. Oh, this is great. We named all the junk planets with nobody on them, like, you know, all the cool names that people want. Now it's like we get out to like a place with something on it. It's like every time I see a planet with a number in the name in a sci-fi thing, it's like the people on that planet. How do they feel when they know they're like, you know, Section Prime 2? You know? They're like, wait a minute, somebody's better than us.
Well, I mean, you don't. It just sounds weird, I guess, to a lot of people. Just asteroid Sandy or something, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, plus it's like
to make all the Sandys feel. I'm an asteroid. I have to lose weight.
Look,
Asteroid Irene.
well, they're not named like hurricanes because they're. I mean, think about all the astral bodies that got discovered. Like when they suddenly changed the way they were detecting planet masses and all these potential super Earths, show up. It's like, well, hey, we gotta have a system for naming all this now. When there's like 400 times more. So.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to the next article here, which is pretty funny. James Weldon Alton, 29, who played Captain America of Universal Studios, was arrested Wednesday on felony charges of transmitting harmful material to a minor after texting dick pics to a 16-year-old girl he met on the job. So, yeah.
Wait, the Captain America? The
What?
real one?
Yeah.
Not some guy dressed up as Captain America?
The real one. I like how he says it. The real one? Because TV's real. That's the difference. Not the guy who...
Movie. That's going to kill their movie ratings.
Not the guy that's on stage for the live show, Like that's like, saying the real Beatles and not the guy that kind of plays George when the other guy's hungover,
Well, you could always mean like a voice actor or something for a cartoon. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That reminds me of that story recently when a guy that played McGruff, the crime dog, got arrested for possession, and I think he also had like a cannon in his car, or maybe an arsenal of guns. So I don't know. It was some news story. I don't have a link for it. I'm just bringing it up because I'm sure if you check it out, it's like, well, that's ironic, don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding day.
I just I mean, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that? Because Captain America is supposed to be an influential figure to kids. He's the Boy Scout of the.
Oh, Captain America. For some reason, I thought you said Captain Planet, and I was confused.
No, Captain America.
It's Captain America, not Captain Planet. You
Well,
need all 5 rings.
Well, to be fair, that Captain America in the comics, when he got thawed out, he was very racist, and they had to send him special training. And go, no, there are black men in society now, and it's okay. So, anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know after this. Hopefully they got done filming with all the Avengers then, which I doubt. The Avengers 2.
Oh, the guy that tried to hook up with a 17-year-old chick? Yeah. I remember this story now. I thought you were saying that, like, the guy from a Universal theme park did this.
No,
like,
the real actor.
It was the real actor. That's why I said the real one, like the one that played him in the movie. Because he almost.
So he's not as real as Reb Brown, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Reb Brown from the movies. Did you ever see those 2 Captain America movies? Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one.
No, not the current ones. The ones from the 70s.
Oh, no, definitely not.
You remember the 70s when they made that Fantastic Four movie and decided, yeah, that's not gonna come out. We made it and everything, but no. No.
Well, about the most popular one that I've seen of the Marvel back then was, like the, was the Hulk. I forget the guy's name. The Lou Ferrigno,
Lou Ferrigno. Do-do-do-do. Do-do. Hitchhiking. Sad Hulk cry. Lou Ferrigno, he's an interesting actor. He played Sinbad, he played Hercules, and he played the Hulk.
Yeah.
Big man. So anyway.
Okay, the next one the next couple ones actually are going to be about 3D printing. Next one is about a quadricopter outfitted with an onboard 3D printer. Could be used to seal off and transport nuclear waste, or even to build structures in the middle of nowhere, according to its inventor. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about the idea of 3D flying 3D printers? You know,
flying 3D printers. I don't know. I mean, every time I see an article about 3D stuff, and it's like, yeah, but we were talking about that like last season, where it's like, you know, like, oh, this new 3D sketching pen you can sketch, models, and it's like, well, yeah, that's like the third iteration of that pen, and I don't know.
Doodler.
Yeah, and then
oh yeah.
I saw an article not too long ago about a guy who got like arrested for having a whole bunch of 3D printed guns and trying to sell them. I think it. I mean, he was a young guy, and it's like 3D printing guns.
You're
It's
talking
still.
about Cody Wilson.
I don't know. But it's like, this is stuff we talked about where it's like, this is starting to get questionable, like, how are they going to regulate this and what's going to happen down the road? It's like, well, this is the world we're in now, man. It's like, you can print this stuff off. I don't know.
Yeah.
As long as I don't see, like, flying drones with 3D printers and then they start printing domes over cities, I'm okay.
So Under the Dome, Stephen King.
Right. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Well,
what if it's a flying drone from Amazon and they're gonna just 3D print you something awesome? Like, oh, here's that sweater I wanted. Oh, you guys are so nice.
See, I'm okay with that.
yeah. Well, it could be used to also like repair buildings and like damaged buildings and stuff, and it could probably eventually be used to make, like 3D printed houses, which they've already been doing with like, those giant, like, what do you call those things that like move the like those giant containers at like shipyards or whatever from one place to the other, those giant belts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They've been using those to 3D print houses.
Cargo shipping things, yeah.
Cargo ship movers, we're gonna call them that.
Yeah, cargo ship.
Well, that just reminds me of like in those movies when like the first settlers on Mars, they like they had this big ship and then they took the ships apart to build their settlement. It's like, I don't know. I'm all in favor of affordable housing, especially for low income or people that need it. So sounds awesome, but then again, this is another thing that sounds awesome, but how it's actually applicable, I don't know. We shall see. I mean, a yurt sounds awesome, in the beginning when you talk about it.
Right. And the next article we've, sort of talked a little bit about before, also is 3D printed body parts are almost here. 3D printing has come a long way in the few years. I lost my thing I was reading. These printers are able to. What the heck? Oh yeah. Okay. These printers, you can make houses, food, and even body parts.
Wait, does that mean I can get the Mountain Dew Cheetos and not have to pay the $5?
No, I mean you just have to pay like the $2-3 grand to have a decent printer and all the materials to make the Cheeto.
I'm definitely going that route. Definitely.
I mean, the replicator sounds like a good idea, but it's like even in the Star Trek universe, they're always complaining that it always tastes bland and it tastes exactly the same. It's not awesome. But then again, versus like a ration packet or something, it's like, oh, I'll take replicated food. Why not?
Yeah. But the video it's from that SourceFed YouTube channel, and they talk about we can 3D print out like prosthetic hands that you can use to like grip things or do whatever, and then you can 3D print organs and even like they're 3D printing out damaged, like, third-degree burns or whatever, like scars and stuff. They could 3D print with the, like the skin or whatever. And
was it during the news segment was it you that told me that about that that little schoolgirl who like her classmates are 3D printing a prosthetic for her for like $15 or something?
Well, yeah, you're probably talking about that. Yeah, I think I've probably mentioned that before. Yeah, it's pretty. You can do it for pretty cheap,
I mean, why not?
Yeah, they've even printed out like some, like 3D printed ear or whatever. Like with the, I don't know how they did it with the cartilage or whatever. It's pretty crazy.
Mike Tyson could print off an ear and then he could be like, "Sorry, man. Here you go."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that'd be nice for who is that guy in that Mike Tyson fight?
Evander Holyfield?
Yeah.
Good for him, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. Mike Tyson, just basically, like, the thing is, he made his, his name as a fighter, and you look at the guy and go, why would I ever want to get into a ring with a man like that who could kill me? And then he gets that face tattoo, and then he goes to school and he gets his degree and everything, and you're just like, do whatever you want, Mike. That's fine. I'm just gonna be over here while you're doing your thing over there, cause yeah. Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last article here. I decided to have 6 today because they all seem interesting to me at the time.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. I mean, sending my dick pics out in the oh wait, that was another story. Never mind.
Yeah. We just want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next one was interesting. It's a little bit political, but it says the Australian debut of social Wi-Fi vendor Airtight Networks means local retailers now have access to a customer. What's that called? To a customer retention and marketing platform that encourages customers to exchange personal data in exchange for free Wi-Fi access. So I guess they're able to give places like Pizza Hut or like Taco Bell or something over there, free Wi-Fi that's supposed to be really fast, but you have to give a lot of like personal social media things. Like I'm not sure, like specifically just like probably like your name and maybe like your friends and
your address
contacts
and your blood type. And
Yeah, I'm not a fan of sharing stuff with the people that want my stuff. It's like, oh hey, you get to use this thing if you just give us this. It's like, no.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, there's free Wi-Fi at some places. I occasionally use it at like Barnes and Noble and whatnot. But all that is, it's like you just press the, you go to the browser and hit the little accept terms of service or whatever. That doesn't mean anything. It's not like, okay, now share us on your Facebook wall and we'll post as you and to tell all your friends how awesome our service is. And then we'll spam them with it. No. Like,
yeah.
that's the thing about any new app I get. When I try and get a social media managing app for like, oh, I want something to try and put all my profile content on one thing, and then it's like the first thing it does is it posts as you. It's like, hey, I'm trying this thing out. Why don't you try me out with all my... Who are you, app? They don't know you. I don't know you. Don't presume to know me.
There are video services and like CEOs of companies like, oh, let's check out this race car video of this girl and her chest pops open, and then it shares it on their Facebook page and they get fired from like apps like that. Like that's actually happened.
Yeah. And then there was that little kid that spent like, what, 16 grand or something through an app because he didn't know that he was buying something, and the parents found out and they had to like, hey Apple, we're kind of not spending this money on our kid's purchase. We don't need that much Angry Birds, you know.
Yeah. Again, I would plug that Decentral One app for Android from that McAfee guy, because I mean it's like, well, why does my Instagram, why is that requesting access to my camera or my microphone right now? You know?
It's listening in, Ian. It wants to know what you're talking about with your friends. And strangers at the bus stop. They're all marketable either way. See, my cat agrees. She's like, yep, that's what it's doing. That's why she doesn't have a smartphone. That, because she's a cat and doesn't have any thumbs, you know. What would texting do for her?
Well, again, it's like Doug said, he did give up a lot of that stuff, but it's nice to have some things that could help with that, you know. You could say, no, I'm not going to let you have access to that, you know. No, thank you.
Yeah, but then you just have to agree not to use the app, and it's like after a while they're going to be, you know, welcoming all kinds of awesome stuff. It's like, well, if you want this thing, you're going to need to use our app, and, you know, we'll use the microphone thing for whatever, you don't know. I don't know. I mean, as a guy who, I don't know enough about, like, the hardware and the stuff that's used in most apps and programs. Like, you know, I don't know if they use the camera to, you know, and the mic to detect different things, or if it's just like, no, they'll just activate just cause the API that they're using just activates it, and it's just a box they didn't untick or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's just, I mean, I've talked with Nate about all that Xbox One stuff with the, you know, like the Kinect and stuff, and it's like they say you can add the option to move a UI slider to tell it to not always be listening or always on or whatever. But again, like Facebook, that's probably just the UI control, right?
Well, whenever you go ahead.
I
Go
played
ahead,
Kinect Sports the other day, and like, so it went and tried to scan my face, and like it was listening, and it was really, really creepy.
Well, with the Kinect Sports, it scans your face because it wants to put an avatar of you into the game. So, although it's kind of questionable how accurate it is, I've seen a couple Let's Plays of it, and I don't know. But then again, you're wanting to play a Kinect game. Joke's on you. So, yeah.
The weirdest thing I've seen with the Kinect as far as creepy stuff is the fact that in like the infrared mode, it could like see your junk through your clothes, because you know that's usually if you have like a IR filter on your camera, you can do the same thing, you know, with you have infrared light down there, which the Kinect, you know, they put all those dots everywhere, you know.
Well, I mean, just wait till they give it a personality and a voice, and then you bring over a date, and it's like, oh, hello, Dan's date. Oh, hey, Dan, why do you have a heart on right now? Well,
Yeah.
So.
That sounds like Seaman for the Dreamcast. Have either of you ever played that?
Didn't have a Dreamcast, so.
Okay, so
I did, but I never tried it.
it's this fish, and it's got like a 10,000 word vocabulary, and then it manipulates things and does awful things. So like it'll ask you, it's like, are you so and so's significant other? And then you'll be like, yes, Seaman, because that's his name. And it's like, he's cheating on you.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're Dave's new girlfriend. You're not as pretty as the last one.
Yeah, it'll say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how things like that are designed. Like, if you ever been to that Dick's restaurant, you know, Dick's Last Resort, the whole idea is, like, you know, you come by and they give you all kinds of insults and riff on you. I don't know.
Yeah. But, hold on, this. I was gonna say, I think co-host might need to step out for a second, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we'll just have to entertain for a second here.
So let's juggle and dance. Professional operation here, folks. I'm just petting my kitty cat so she doesn't meow. My mom's watching TV in the other room. Special operation. Totes profess. So.
Actually, I think I saw something. Weren't they gonna in like China or something? They're gonna try to use monkeys somehow for doing, just like in war and stuff. I don't know.
Monkeys in war. Actually, I heard this. I've seen this article and heard people talk about it on other podcasts about these Soviet scientists were trying to like domesticate these foxes so that they could use them for espionage. But the problem was that as they would domesticate them, they would turn from looking like wild foxes to more and more like dogs. So it would be like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, as long as we've got some space to fill during the show right now, I'm going to link that documentary I was going to talk to you about. I think I got this sometime around the last show. I didn't remember it until recently. The documentary is called Making It. A documentary about surviving as an illustrator. And it asks the question, when you're an illustrator, what's your idea of making it? Like, when you start out, it's like, oh, they're professional illustrators and they've made it. I'll never get there. What do you do when you have that huge client list? And it's like, the guy who is a professional, does he, there are people that have been doing the industry for like 10, 20 years, and they don't consider themselves professionals. They don't think they made it until they achieve some other arbitrary goal. And what does it mean? And is it a good thing to try and strive to make it, or is it, is it a bad thing, or is it a good thing, or what does it mean, Ian?
I don't know. What does it mean to you?
Interesting question. I mean, personally, I think the idea of, making it is you do the thing that you want to do, and you succeed at it. Because, it's like there are plenty of busboys in California looking to be, a director or a writer or something. The guy writing the next great American novel for the past 20 years, and he's doing some day job. And it's like, as long as you can make, a living, or make, at least start making an income off of what you do, enjoy doing what you want to do with your life, then I'd say that to some level that's making it. Then, of course, there's, the whole level of success is like, okay, you're doing the thing, and it's like you've got jobs coming in and everything, but, what happens 20, 30, 40 years down the road when you die? It's like, is your legacy, well, I did a bunch of commercial work. Alright, great. Do you have anything that really represents you as an artist? Anything you're going to be remembered for after you die?
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
He was just talking about a documentary. He was trying to ask us what it means when you say if you made it or whatever in life, How do you define success, Nate?
When you're enjoying your job and you take home a large enough paycheck.
Really? I don't know. You see, I define success more along the lines of happiness, because you can have money, sure, but that doesn't. You could be miserable as hell,
Yeah,
you could have money that people have given you from your family. That doesn't mean you've really made it in life, I guess.
Well, it's where the money came from, if you've made, the argument is like being a self-made person or making it on your own. It's like, there are all these people that they come from wealthy families and wealthy backgrounds. It's like, oh, I went out to make it on my own, in the apartment my parents furnished, and the fancy car that they paid for, and all those years in the school and all the connections. It's like, I don't know.
You have to be happy.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like what I said. That's why usually, a person with a really loving family that has just like an average job or whatever, they would consider themselves having made it. Having that 2.5 children or whatever.
You only have half a baby, not a whole baby. You have the butt end of the baby, the part nobody likes. Gotta draw a face on the baby. Speaking of babies, that's probably a nice segue into the show I went to. Last week I went to see the Aquabats at the Cleveland House of Blues, and the Aquabats, I've been seeing them for a long time, but they've had, for a while they've had that Yo Gabba Gabba, and then they had their own show now, and so they were addressing it on stage. They're like, we got to figure out what to do with the two fan bases meet, like the kids that come in, the little kids that like our show and come in, and then they've got like, angsty teenage dudes in the mosh pit, and it's like, like we gotta have an early show for the babies. Well, okay, not the babies, because nobody wants babies. They poop, they cry, they ruin everything. But like kids, the little kids.
Baby back,
yeah.
ribs.
And they're like, next time we might have like two shows, because like you can't just have like one show for everybody when your fan base includes little kids and then like college frat guys, and the angsty teenage youth. And it was quite an interesting experience. They brought a number of children up on stage to throw to their parents in the audience, and it was a fun shtick, because the whole time I'm just sitting there, bring out your babies.
Yeah, what was I gonna say?
I don't know what you were gonna say, Ian. I was talking about babies. Bring me a baby. It was funny that the MC Bat Commander was holding a little kid and goes, "Who's your favorite Aquabat?" And the kid, without hesitation, points to somebody behind him. I'm like, that little kid didn't even try to pretend. Like, oh, gee, let me think about it for a minute. No, it was that one back there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, how did you have a fun time, and did you have to spend like a lot of money and stuff there? Or?
No, I didn't spend a lot of money. I bought my ticket before, so I had the e-ticket on my iPhone, which I talked about the fun of getting that whole thing sorted out. Then I get to the event, it's like I just hold up my phone and they just scan the thing and stamp your hand so that way you can get in and out. And then the opening act was Cuckoo Kangaroo, and they were I don't know. I didn't know anything about them beforehand, and I don't know. It was it was an interesting time. Like our friend Kyle and his fiance. I rode out with them and our friend Philip, and they just Kyle and his fiance. They just run the marathon the day before in Cincinnati, so they're just like, yeah, just kind of want to really walk around too much. Kind of you just want to sit or stand in one place. It's alright.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, with Kyle though. Well, I don't know. I mean, what did you say? He said he still doesn't know what his friend did with his microphone. We were hoping to have him on soon.
I asked him, because the last time we were going to have him on the show, he said that he loaned out his mic without remembering that he was going to be on the show, and he texted me and he's like, "Well, I'll let you know when I get it back." And then I asked him when we were driving up there. I said, "So, did you ever get your mic back?" He said, "Nope, still waiting." So I don't know when we'll see Kyle on the show. I mean, he's kind of busy doing a lot of stuff too, because he's got that wedding to plan for and everything. So, but we'll see when we can get him on the show again, because he's a good guest. I like having him on.
Oh, he's a good guest. I don't know. It sort of seems to me like he doesn't. He's not really that interested, I guess. So I mean.
Well, I mean, he's just another dude, and he's not like you, me, and Doug, and all, like who have shows. It's like he's got his 9 to 5, and then he's got all the stuff going on in his life, So we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yes, we shall.
But yeah, that show, it was interesting because we saw the Aquabats, and it was pretty much like a lot of deep cuts on that show. It was, because usually you go to see a popular band and it's like, hey, we're gonna play a couple hits from that album that everyone bought, like not the last one but the one before that, or we're gonna just play the hits everyone knows. But it's like they pull out a few old ones from like the first album, and and the older ones. I'm like, hey, that Magic Chicken song, Haven't heard that one in a while. And then they did Burger Rain from the TV show. Burger Rain, Burger Rain, Burger Rain.
What about you, Nate? Have you been to any concerts lately? What kind of music are you into?
The last concert I went to, like, someone bought a ticket for the girlfriend, and it was her favorite band, and then she got sick. So, like, they had a bunch of saxophones and, like, trumpets and, like, tubas, and it was fun. But, like, I talked to somebody before the show, and they're like, oh, yeah, I've never heard of this band. And then they're like, well, you're an awful person if you don't like this band. It was, like, 4 girls, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, other people could be kind of militant on their own music views. As an old man, I don't really care about that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although some older men get militant, like, no, the music I like is the only good stuff. If you're not into Dire Straits, I can't talk to you. So, I don't know, man. I kind of wonder sometimes, like, the guys that get dragged to a show by their girlfriend, like, imagine, if that guy, he agreed to go to the show because he was going with his girlfriend, and then they split up, and he still got a ticket. What do you do in that situation? Do you try and pawn it off on your friends who have a girlfriend and go, hey, man, you want some tickets to this show I really don't want to go to, but, I thought it might get me, in with my lady, but that ain't happening now. So...
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I didn't pay for it.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So what kind of music are you into then? Is that like a ska or whatever with the trumpets and stuff?
I don't know what kind of band it was, but it was okay. Like,
if there's tubas, it's probably like a swing or a big band kind of thing, because I don't know.
But it was really bizarre because it wasn't a swing, and it wasn't like they just, for some reason, it was almost like a rock band, but they had like tubas, and it was...
I mean, I've seen rock bands with tubas instead of bass, and I mean, I've seen a lot of weird configurations over the years, and it's like, I don't know, you always get that one band that they're just trying to identify, like, no, we've got this unique sound, whatever, man, just try and be that guy who has to fill in the, unclassifiable section in the music store.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, was there a topic that you wanted to talk about, Nate? You wanted to talk about sort of like what we were talking about with the 3D printing stuff, but... Well, actually, no, you wanted to talk about the Amazon drone stuff?
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about the Amazon drones and how people are going to start freaking out because they're going to see a drone flying in, and usually drones fly in to, like, blow up buildings, and then it's just some rich dude's Amazon package. Or they're going to be delivering, like, a pizza.
I think I'd feel better if it just broadcasted the theme to Airwolf while it was flying.
But actually, he's not wrong about the pizza, because then isn't Amazon wanting to be more in like the delivering of food market or whatever?
Amazon's wanting to be in the any market that people are paying money for. So.
Yeah, that's about what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been out for a while, and I mean, we've discussed countless times on the show about the Amazon drones, I believe. I mean, the main problems is that, like, you have to get through all the FAA regulations or whatever, and then you have people who are going to end up messing with it, like a lot of the...
There's going to be some idiot who tries to steal it. There always is.
Well, of course there is.
They order, like, a really cheap package, and then they try and, like, hey, guys, guess what I got? A drone.
Yeah, and then Amazon goes, hey, what happened to that drone that we sent you and it kind of didn't return? And it's like, it didn't get shot down over the countryside. That's...
It fell off the truck, I swear.
Man, trucks.
Well, I mean, people are worried about, like, as soon as they see the drone or whatever delivering a package, everyone's going to try to steal that package or whatever. But, I mean, with the delivery people now, I mean, it's illegal to take the package, so I mean, it's not as common now for people to take stuff once you see the...
Yeah, they had, like, it was a news article, and it was the UPS guy, and he delivered the package, and then he came back, and he just took the iPad. It was messed up. They caught him.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but it's...
Well, I mean, you think about the UPS design, their trucks don't have doors, and it's just like,
yeah.
Gee, I'm just going to walk away while somebody in this neighborhood comes by. I mean... it's a pretty common scam to like have stuff delivered to an abandoned house and then come by and take it.
Right.
That's so.
Well,
Scams.
what was your points that you were saying about it before, Ben?
What was I saying
I mean,
before?
Did you have any other points against it that I was saying that they, like hurdles or whatever they have to overcome with it?
I think with anything, they're going to roll it out in certain locations first. I mean, if it took us how long to get Taco Bell breakfast, then how long until we get the drone? I think it's going to be in the locations. I mean, I think they'll get stuff sorted out before it actually, it might just stay to certain products in certain areas, the article you read before about it was saying that it was like, certain delivery times that they were shooting for to do like pizzas, like the half hour, limit or whatever. It's like, well, in order to have that, they'd have to have a place that has the drones and has to stock the stuff. I mean, I saw an article just the other day where they were bringing out a number of former Amazon workers talking about the horrible conditions in the warehouse. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I want to know how much the shipping is going to be. You got to fuel a drone to deliver a pizza?
Well, I mean, considering, how much does it cost to have, like, overnight stuff sent, it's pretty insane. So, unless you've got, like, the Amazon Prime, it doesn't really make much sense to begin with, so... But if not, why not fuel up the drone? Because, otherwise... Like, when Domino's sends a guy over to your house, it's like, he's got to get in the car and he's got to drive there. It might be his car, that's how you get the gig at some places, right? Like, that most places, I don't know how many places supply the car. So.
Not too many.
Yeah.
I know, that's one of those things I always thought, like, good, Godspeed to the guys who deliver the pizza, but every time I thought about it, I'm like, man, I would not want the job of just showing up to some random person's house, like, they could just kill you. Take your stuff or rob you. It's like
yeah.
And there's, did you ever have the fun?
Pizza.
Did you ever have the fun of living in a neighborhood where they don't deliver? Oh, we don't deliver there. It's that's out of our range.
Well, or like sometimes I'm sure they've done it before where they're like, oh yeah, we don't, we charge an extra fee for like a high risk fee or whatever for that area.
Yeah, that's gotta be a great confidence booster. Which, yeah. I don't know. I remember when I went away to college, I didn't think about, my old neighborhood until I drove back to visit, and I was paranoid of stopping at red lights after dark. I was like, I kind of want to be stuck on the road now. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, me and Nate here, I mentioned it to you off here, but yeah, he lives in the same apartment as me, a couple stories down, but, yeah, the Canton area, it's pretty decent. Even during nighttime, we even have a Domino's like a block or so across the street.
I haven't ordered from Domino's in a long time because the last time I called them, it was like 4 o'clock in the evening, and they're like, "Oh, we're not open yet." I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" That's what I thought. I was like, I could understand like a steak place that only opens for dinner, but like you're a Domino's. What are you doing?
They're playing Domino's.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know. I don't know if I asked you about it yet, Nate, but what's up with, there's a gas station that's like at least a few blocks down, and
Chester's?
I went down. What?
Chester's?
Maybe. I think it was like sort of like a Sheetz place or something.
They got shut down for selling cigarettes overpriced.
Oh, really? So they're shut down, guys. Like, I went down there at one time at like 8 o'clock, and I was like, they're closed or something?
Yeah, they got shut down for overpricing cigarettes.
Yeah, I know of a flea market that got shut down a while ago because they were selling cigarettes and tobacco, but they weren't charging the tax. They were just pocketing it. It's like
right.
The state will not let you do that. It's like you can fart around with customers and whatnot in your local area, but it's like if the feds catch you doing something, no, we want our money. That's serious business.
Yeah. Actually, with the cigarettes thing, that's another topic that's interesting that's sort of popular now is
the e-cigs and the vaping.
Yeah, the e-cigs. Yeah, the whole debate on the e-cigs.
Well, I understand the idea that they're like, oh, I don't want to smoke anymore, so I'll just do this thing that'll give me the same hit. But it's like, I look at that and I'm just like, you're already spending money on this thing to substitute this thing that you're like, oh, I have this horrible addiction, so I need to have this thing to substitute it. It's like you're just basically doing the same thing. It's just different, and it's like they don't know all the effects of it. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, they don't know the effects. You could grow a third eye. Like, no, I just don't know how much better it is, or if it is better than actually smoking, because I kind of doubt it. Anything that's putting these substances in your body so you don't miss a cigarette is probably not good for you either way, just like the patch and anything else.
That it's just as bad for you as cigarettes, but it's not as bad for other people. So I guess I'm all for the e-cig.
Right.
It's supposed to be cheaper too. Like, you can get 2 packs of the drops for the other one, but they're banning the e-cig because they don't know what kind of effects it could give. More like the cigarette companies bribe somebody and they want more money because they're losing money.
So it's the electric car of the cigarette industry, basically. I don't know. Whenever I see the thing light up, I just look at it like, you guys, really? Just, like, the whole history of humanity, if you want to give yourself cancer, go ahead and do it the traditional way. Don't be like, oh, I have to be this new hip guy that has the new thing that won't make me sick. Whatever.
Yeah, well, that's it for a lot of people. It's just like it's a part of their outfit, you know. It's just like for the fashion, the hitness, trendiness of it, you know.
Well, it's like those guys that only smoke cloves, and it's like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Just. See, I've never thought smoking was cool because, you know, my mom smoked the entire time I was growing up, and I always thought it was a disgusting habit. So, I was just like, I don't know. It's like, I'll just, she's like, oh, hand me my pack of smokes. Like, no, these things are stinky and gross, and it's like, I see people doing it to try and look cool, and it's always just like, why would you put something in your mouth and light it? What sense does that make? So.
I know. Well, it's especially sucks for us here at our apartment here because we have like a bunch of old ladies here that are like heavy smokers, you know, like those really strong old lady cigarettes. I forget what you call them.
Well, it's like all they have to do is smoke.
Cubans,
it's like,
that's what you call them. Cuban cigars.
Oh my god, it's like 3 cigarettes at once.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just, it sucks because you can't even open your window without the smoke coming into your apartment, even though there's like a couple stories down, you know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The smoke rises, so it's just...
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't even know where it's coming from because it's sort of hard to look up or down above in the balconies above you or below you, you know.
Well, it's always great when you try and get a hotel room and you gotta put the no smoking check, and it's like, half the time you're like, is this place really not smoking, or do they just scrub some of the snake off? Because you go in, it's like, well, I smell a lot of air freshener. What are they trying to hide? I'm very suspicious of hotels.
Blue light.
I mean, no, I want to be able to sleep that night, so I would never want to do that. I would do that maybe after leaving and give myself nightmares when I get home, but not when I'm going to have to sleep in a strange... It's a weird thing when we accept what a hotel is. It's like this place that's not really somebody's place unless they decide to live in one, which kind of tells you something. But, you stay there, it's like you climb into a bed that's not yours, that with sheets that are washed, and have been used by people that you don't know. And there's that thing with the toilet paper, where it's like, when it's been used, they fold it into that little triangle or whatever, and you're like, I don't know how I feel about somebody touching the roll before me, and I don't know who they are. And then when I went to a friend's wedding one time, I stayed at a place that it had like the jets and a spa hot tub, or because that was like the only room left in the available for the event. And I was talking to the bride's mom, and she's like, yeah, we got one of those, but I filled the tub with bleach first because who knows what's going to be in there. I'm like, don't make me paranoid about that. I don't want to think about all the people that had been there before they cleaned it. I don't want to have to.
I want to know, does she carry bleach around with her? Like, is that a normal thing?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, people have their own little things, like, oh, what you do before you go in, here's what everyone does, and here's what I do, because I have the way to make it cleaner, because that's disgusting, and it's like, I'd rather really not have to think about disinfecting it after the people that have been paid to disinfect and clean everything leave, so, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know you're not like a germaphobe though, because I mean some of those people can go crazy, you know, and they can actually it could be worse for them because they put so much hand sanitizer on their hands, and then they don't even have like any immune system or whatever.
Yeah, and then you think about all the hotels that have like the bed bug outbreaks, and it's like, oh, I don't ever want to think about that.
Oh yeah, that when you think about it like that though, that could be scary, and especially if you think if you shine a black light on that room, you can see it from space. Then you know.
Boy. Well, this podcast is going in some interesting directions already, Ian. So.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you recently saw Rapture Palooza after I brought it up on that episode with Doug, and he was having none of that right away.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess he pretty much wasn't, but yeah.
I told him the idea, and he, while he was by, he's like, I don't want to hear it, don't care. Sounds stupid. I'm not saying, he's free to believe what he wants. It's like I gave it like a C+. I thought it had good parts, but then there's some parts where it's like they could have cut this. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the film?
Well, first I have two comments. The first comment is, "Damn tits," and the second comment is, I still say. Bernie Mac would have been better.
Well, yeah, but he's dead. And so if he was actually in the movie, he would have been the Antichrist. Wasn't Bernie Mac's actual last movie Old Dogs? Because they filmed it and then they shelved it for a long time, and so it came out after he died, and it's like, oh, this shouldn't be. This should not be.
Yeah.
So.
But generally, it was pretty funny. I liked it. I mean, it was hard to get the premise though. I mean, was like God and the devil supposed to both be dead then or something?
Yeah, that part, the part at the end was the confusing part. Like, I like the aspect of like, when you live in the apocalypse, after a while you get used to it. Like, is it raining blood? It's raining blood. Well, turn the wipers on. Like, man, we should move. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. So whose boobies were you talking about? Because I don't remember seeing
the main girls on that.
Oh, okay.
The one that the devil wanted to marry or whatever and have kids with.
Like, can I give you a banana, hot dog, other dick-shaped food?
Yeah.
Wanna touch your booty all night long?
No, it's. I mean, I know I'd like to try to have some kind of professionalism on this podcast, but it's just like that.
Yeah, see, I was just watching some episodes of Penn and Teller's show from Showtime. So, it was interesting because I'd watched later seasons, when it was wrapping up. So I started watching the first season, and the whole time I'm just like, huh, there's no nudity so far. I'm like 6-7 episodes in. I'm like, where's the... like every other season, they're just like boobs, naked people, naked people, naked people, and so, and then I realized the episode where they started talking about sex, and like maybe they put it in that late into the season so that people would feel comfortable before they brought it out, and also there's a lot of naked people in that episode, so maybe they had to save it in the budget.
Yeah.
So,
what was good about it though is that they definitely weren't racist because they had like all types of naked women on there,
Naked women, naked dudes, naked people for everybody. Yay!
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when people criticize HBO and Game of Thrones? They're like, we want more male nudity.
I don't know.
So
I haven't watched it. Have you seen the Game of Thrones?
Okay, I watched it and like. I was with my cousin, and then his mom, because like they read the book, I guess, and it just got awkward because they hit that nudity point, and it's like, I'm just gonna go over here in the other room and puke a little bit, because I just watched that with my aunt.
So it was pretty weird for you then.
It was a little weird, honestly.
A little weird. I mean, I don't know. I've watched The L Word with my mom in the room, and she wasn't paying any attention to it. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, did you see those boobies there, son? Look at them.
Boobs. Well, I mean, no, I'd seen, shows before where, they'd have boobs in them, but they were always like, here's a scene in Africa, and it's like, oh, wait, a tribe's, that's nothing. But it's like, when it's just like, all of a sudden, here's bosoms in everybody's face, it's like, well, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I agree that, it should be even. It's like, if men get to see all the, naked ladies they want, it's like, well, women should be able to see what they want, go ahead. More power to them, I say.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if everybody enjoys nudity, hey, bring it on. I mean, as long as they're not complaining, like, we've seen too much wiener. We've had enough. Put the actors away. We don't want to see it.
Yeah. Well, do you know people that are, like, nudists and stuff? I mean, generally...
I don't personally know any, but I follow some people on Tumblr that are really big into the nudist thing. But like, they like anybody that's into something when they post on Tumblr and Facebook and everything, they tend to post a little too much of the thing they're really into to where even you're like, okay, I like this one thing. It's like I like cats. You share too many cat pictures, and it's like I like naked people. You share too many people that are just naked just because you're into naked people. I mean, I never thought I'd say that, but here I am. It's it's like there are people that are sharing something and we're like, why is this on the thing? Oh, because somebody's naked in it. And it's like, oh, it's a bad caricature of a cartoon character and somebody drew a dick on it. Great, but I don't need to see that. I mean, I've seen some stuff where it's like, why is it, it's like, oh, this is a bad political cartoon for a side that I totally disagree on. Why is this person sharing? Oh, because it's got a naked person in it. Okay. So...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know for a lot of people it's like a political thing with, what do you call it, just nudism or whatever, but, I mean, isn't the whole point of wearing clothes is, to be warm, but also to separate man from beast and not preventing everybody from like being horny all the time?
I don't know. I mean, that's
people to shop at the Gap.
Well, I mean, then you get an interesting question. It was like, was it New York where the issue is, men can walk around topless, but then women want to be able to do the same thing when it's a hot summer. But it's like, oh, they're just boobs. They're like, you have a problem with it. With men can walk around with a bigger rack than some of the women. But the men can do it and have these, like, oh, that's obscene. I can't stand to see. It's like, if you're gonna have a set of rules for one group but not another, I think it's because in American society, we sexualize the breast. Whenever it comes to breastfeeding, it's like, how dare you? It's like, how dare you? We can't see that in public. It's like, and yet you can open carry weapons. Men can have their man boobies hanging out. There's all kinds of stuff, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's a social discussion because I mean, you go to different neighborhoods, different areas, you're going to get very different responses from the people in that scene. So,
yeah, like on TV versus like a place like Europe or whatever, they're more about letting like kids, like see sexuality and nudity. Where here it's more about like violence and stuff. It's okay to see,
Yeah, but in Europe, they've got like wine at McDonald's for kids.
Well, I've heard the argument, is like, American TV, it's like, you have all this violence, but then, like, oh, nudity, we can't have people accidentally tuning into that. Kids might get, exposed to that and turned on, or question sexuality or something that we don't know about. We can't have an angry letter writer, with Janet Jackson's nipple showing up again. So.
I don't know, I mean, I guess you could say that, like the female form is more beautiful than it seems the guts getting shot out of somebody or something,
Well, I mean, then there's some people that although I've seen people that, like, their thing is, like, naked chicks and gore together. Like, I've seen people I'm just like, how can you be turned on by the violence? That's just kind of weird, and I don't
or
know.
you see like women, although in the horror movies, they'll be like in one of those Hostel movies. I remember seeing that she was like smearing the blood all over her body and stuff. Like,
well,
whoa.
I don't know. I mean, on some level, there's the question of like, this is like, when they show like the shot on the cover of the movie, and it's like the chick in her in her underwear running away post rape or whatever, and they're like, oh, we're trying to sex it up, and it's like, why is this supposed to be sexy? What is wrong? Like, I think there was a Dracula movie. I believe it might have been Dracula or a Frankenstein movie where there was a rape scene added, and the whole idea was that they wanted to sex it up. It's like, who sexes up a movie with that? That's a horrible idea.
Yeah, let's sex up Nazis at the center of the earth.
Let's just not talk about that movie. We should probably put a moratorium on it, because every time I talk about, we've talked about the whole. There are enough torture porn movies. There are enough torture porn movies and just bad. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal of gore to some extent. Like, what was that Brain Dead, or the guy who directed the Lord of the Rings movies. He did those crazy splatter films and stuff. He did some crazy stuff, and I can understand people into that and stuff that's beyond reality, kind of weird. Kill Bill has plenty of weird gore in it, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, to begin with, I mean, people look at it as an art form because of the amount of detail that has to go in simulating that type of stuff, I guess. But
especially if you're using practical blood too, because it's like you get the different mixes of like corn syrup or poster paint for like what kind of big fake red blood, or the big red orange blood, or do you want just the ketchup blood? Versus now you've got movies that have the really fake CG blood, which is added in post, and you're like, that looks bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen. I guess there exists like museums that have like the weird sort of like with the dinosaurs, but like you see like all the anatomy or whatever. I forget what the guy's name was.
Human exhibits.
Yeah, it's something like that, where this guy would take like cadavers or whatever, and he'd do certain things.
And they strip away the flesh, and it's just the muscle and the tendons and stuff. Yeah,
My mom paid
I've seen that.
$5 to see that exhibit. I passed.
Yeah, there's the guy riding the horse, and then there's the one where they got a sheep, and it's segmented in big blocks of plastic. I mean, that stuff, if you grew up with like Slim Goodbody and the Visible Man models and stuff, that's understandable. I mean, you think about like how long ago it was, like during the Renaissance, when it was against the law to examine dead bodies. That was a thing that good people didn't do, so artists had to sneak and learn that stuff. And now it's like, we know all kinds of stuff about anatomy now. So.
Oh
yeah. Anatomy.
Yeah.
Here, actually, that reminds me. I wanted to talk to you, Ian, about gesture drawing, because I've mentioned on my show before, and I've shared links on places where you can go and find gesture drawing programs. Like a little script on a web page where you can set it to rotate different photos of people, meeting your requirements. So like if you just want to have male models or female models or nude models or clothed people, and if you want to do 30-second drawings or minute-long poses or something longer, and you can just select a little thing and then hit start, and it'll go through. And I was trying to do some gesture drawing while I was animating today, because I wanted to try and do. Richard Williams suggested that like a thing to do with live models is to have them change poses every 30 seconds. So like they go through an action of like unbuttoning a shirt or like bending over or picking something up, and you don't have enough time to fuss with details. You just have to get the motion and all that stuff. So I was trying to figure out, there has to be a YouTube like version of the gesture drawing tool, shouldn't there be? I mean, because I found one for being able to pause and like skip ahead frames, like frame by frame, but that's really awkward. I'd rather have something where like every 30 seconds it moves the frame, so like I could just I mean, I could probably script it with the API, but it's like, I was thinking today, I really don't want to script anymore. I just want to draw. I've done enough.
I could understand that, but it's like the problem that I said before is people complain about it is you don't have the 3D depth aspect of it, when you're trying to draw models and stuff,
Well, I mean, I had a professor in college who was complaining that drawing for photographs, he's like, oh, that's cheating because it's already 2D to begin with. Well, yeah, but if you close one eye, everything's 2D to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of can you put that into an image. So.
Well, but I mean, to begin with, are you pretty decent with doing the drawings? Pretty fast?
Well, I wasn't doing like 30-second. I was mostly trying to get the motions down. I did about 40 quick sketches, and I made it into a GIF. And then I think tomorrow, or whenever I go back to it, I'm going to try and draw over it some more because I really need to get in the habit of drawing a lot. Because you know how it is. You spend a lot of time on one thing, and by the end of the day. Like, I was reading this tweet recently by Harry Partridge. He's a Flash animator. He was saying he spent 14 hours that day animating a person hitting a remote control. And he's like, I could understand if this was like some Disney's 9 Old Men stuff where it looked like that was the greatest hitting a remote control ever animation. But he's like, nope, it still looks like my stuff. He's like, and when I'm, an old man and looking back on my 20s and realizing what did I do? He's like, well, I made that remote hit look great. It's like, nope, I'm not going to be looking back on it like that.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Nate? Have you tried to draw it all, or what?
I can draw a great stick figure. It's awesome. It's got like 9 lines. It's amazing.
Well, you said that who was it? Your sister or whatever?
My cousin. She's a great artist.
Did she go to a college or anything?
Nah, she basically said that she's listened to a bunch of artists and they say just practice. And going to the college is like a complete waste of money and time. Because if you could draw good, you could do it on your own. You don't need some college to teach you how to do it. I mean, you'll get better at the college, but like, you could have spent all that money on like a profession. You could have hired like a professional artist to teach you how to draw and like give you classes, and you'd still have money left over. Like spending $50,000 on learning how to draw better. Does that really sound practical?
Yeah. Well, we definitely have had that conversation before. I mean.
Yeah, especially today. Like if it came down to like if we were just getting out of high school and like looking down the barrel of another 10 years of student loans, like would you go to art school today? I mean, I probably wouldn't, be honest. I mean, unless I was already in a program that was like some advanced placement stuff and they had connections. Because that's really all art school can hopefully give you is, this is they're in a certain neighborhood that like, everybody that goes to this school goes into working for this company. That I could understand, but still you're saddled with 10 years of debt and a lot, I don't know.
Well, it depends on the situation because like for me, I was still living at home, and like I was at that time where my stepmom, she really believed the hype of oh yeah, you get right out of high school, you must go to college because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You can never go to college when you're in your late 20s.
Well, that is the thing. It's like it's not unheard of to go back to school, but once you pass the standard, like, okay, you're a high school grad, go into college, once you're older than that, especially when you've got yourself situated with other responsibilities in life, it's, people are less willing to help you out, too. A lot of kids, they have their parents, they don't, I don't think a lot of kids appreciate when they're going to college and it's just assume their parents will help them pay for things, because when they get older, it's like, you really should have taken advantage of everything you had in the school. Because I had classmates that were in college and they were just like, oh, my mom, my dad, they want me to come here, I kind of, whatever, just, they'd hand in the manga version of the assignment and the professors would be like, whatever, you're not trying.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely be a lot smarter about it if I was to still go back to school. If it was, like you were saying, in that scenario, I would probably try to go in state, try to find somewhere, it's nice to have be in an atmosphere of being with other people that are into the same stuff. You've said that before.
Yeah,
So,
well, the thing about the atmosphere is college is the only place where you're going to be around people in your situation going through what you're going through until you go to a retirement home. That's the only other place you're going to get that. So it's might as well live it up when you're young. I mean, I guess it depends on what you come out with, out of high school with. Like if you're 17 and you have abilities, like there are plenty of people that rather than going to school, they just buy the hardware and then start applying for jobs and start doing things, and they never got any official training for it because it's like, well, hey, as long as you can do the work, they don't really care what your degree is if you have examples.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
I mean, the way I've looked at it is, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I like the teachers from AIP. That don't get me wrong, they were really good, but I would just say go maybe try looking for an in-state school and one that's like a lot cheaper that doesn't give you like $50,000 or $100,000 of debt, where at least you'll get some kind of atmosphere and you'll get a little bit of experience. But the main thing is to try to just hone your own skills, and just practice, like Nate said,
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is that, like, I could spend so many thousands of dollars to go to a school, or I could just buy the computer and the software to do a program and spend I could spend 5 years trying to make a film and probably only spend, honestly, a couple grand versus like tens of grands. So
yeah,
it's an investment issue.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, you get the equipment and you could start off with YouTube and Vimeo or whatever, or go on to like digital tutors or whatever, and whatever other courses. It's gonna end up being way cheaper than going to school.
It is.
I mean,
way
it's
cheaper,
like,
but the one thing you
go
have
ahead.
to have is the drive.
Oh yeah, definitely the passion.
I guess that's what the college gives you. It's like, if you don't do this, you'll fail, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna fail.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about school. I took an online art history course recently because it was a course by CalArts that they were offering through Coursera and stuff, and it's like, well, I really wanted to get into CalArts when I graduate high school, so of course I'm going to be paying attention. And when you have deadlines to meet, it's like that's suddenly this impetus that comes over, because when you're doing your own assignments, it's like, oh, I'll get to that whenever, or I've got this other thing I want to do right now. But when it's like, no, this is due at the end of the week, it doesn't matter if you like it or not, you need to get this thing done, or it's not getting turned in and you're not getting the assignment finished. So I don't know, it's interesting. Like I said, when I was a kid, I wanted to go to CalArts, and it's like, now I look at it, it's like, there are still kids that are like, oh, I want to go in there, it's going to be great, I'm going to, it's where I'm going to go, and it's like, I still see people like, I don't know if there's any art school right now that can hold up, like, you go through this course, and then you come out, now you're in the industry, and now you're an animator, and now you're a filmmaker, it's like, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of people with degrees that can't find work or aren't using the degree they got in, I don't know.
I've got a cousin, and he's in college for biochemistry, and he's working at an Acme.
And he's what?
He's working at an Acme, and he's in biochemistry, and he's probably
So he's
still gonna be
selling-
working at.
So he's selling
Yeah.
the Coyote, all that stuff he's going to get the Roadrunner with.
That's right. Well, he's probably going to get out of there, and because he's been working at the Acme for so long, he's probably going to have a better paying job at the Acme. So he's making like 12, I think, right now at the Acme so far.
Interesting. But
Money.
well, the problem too is this, like me and Ben have talked about before, is I think it's important to find out, like, discover yourself sort of for a couple of years, maybe after you get out of high school, to know what you actually want to do, because then, you get into all the student loan debt, but it's not really what you want to do,
Well, I mean, there was a thing when I was in college. They told us that the average college student changes majors like 4 times or something. And,
Yeah.
When I think about what I thought I wanted to be when I graduated school and the way I approached it, it's like I really would have done the end of my high school career very differently. I really would have gone to a different kind of college. I would have, I would have been in a lot of different programs, but, I was in a very different place. And nobody, everybody, you try and tell people what your goal is, and they're like, oh, hey, you can have, people will misguide you up the wazoo. Like, I was reading a post not on Tumblr a while ago where somebody said that they were in art school and someone asked them, "What do you want to do with your life?" And the person was like, "Oh, I kind of want to do drawings, maybe with color pencil, do that for a career." And they're like, "You can't do that. You have to get like an interior, a graphic design degree, or you have to get a, or this or that." And so they went to school for that for like, a couple of years, and then they realized, oh wait, I don't have to do. And they quit going to that school. They started doing their own thing, and now what did they do? They did for a living, drawing, mostly with colored pencils. It's like people's expectations of what you need to do. Like, you and I are art guys, Ian, but it's like, my dad, worked in factories, and I've got other people that, in my family that work different kinds of jobs, and I try and tell them about what I want to do and what I'm trying to do, and they're like, yeah, that's nice, but you're going to need to get a job doing this. And it's like, wow, you're not listening. Yeah.
Well, what's weird is I almost separate like people like me and you. I'd separate us, and like people like your parents or like my people in my family that do like a factory job or just go day by day doing the same thing. It's almost like they're zombies sometimes. I think
Well, I mean, there's the comfort of. Well, I mean, there is some of the comfort of, like, the idea that a company is going to provide you a retirement and an insurance, and that, you go in, you do your same job every day, and you don't have to think about it, because when you're an art person, like, it's a lot of finding your own way. It's like if you want to be, a magazine cartoonist and stuff, you have to submit to all these places, and you have to get numbers, and you have to talk to certain art directors, and you have to make all this self-promotion, you have to, and you have to plot that, or maybe you're going to make all your money with merchandising, or maybe you're going to make it all with web advertising. And it's like you really have to figure it out, and every day you could be like, I'd really like to draw today, but I got to figure out this website stuff because my site is broken.
Yeah.
Like the whole scripting argument.
Oh yeah, definitely everything's on you, man. You're like the head honcho, and you have to. It's just got to work so you can live,
Yeah, and that's probably what I think is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about this weekend was the whole idea of like, when you're growing up as a kid, they tell you, okay, if you could make $1 million or whatever and never have to work, what would you do with your time? And I know people that if you ask them what they would do if they never had to work, they'd be like, nothing. I've known people like that. And, but the idea of that exercise, like in Office Space, the idea is to tell you what you're going to, what you would be happiest doing. What you would do if you just had to do it because you can't not do it. Artists have compulsions that they have to make stuff. It's like, if they're not, they're like, well, I'm not happy and I'm going insane here. So...
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like people envision, oh yeah, when I'm rich, I'm gonna have all the women and cars and everything, and it's like, well, what do you do after that? After you have all that, are you just like with the women all the time after that, or?
Well, I mean, when we were at AIP, they had, I remember one of our professors asked made a statement. She was like, the kids, they say, oh, it'll be different when they're paying me. And she's like, fool, you're paying to be here. It's if you're not working when you're paying to be here, what real incentive do you have to work when you're at somewhere for somebody else? Yeah. And my issue is like I always try to relieve any point of possible tension in the studio. I try to go, I really should focus on this. This is what I want to do, and these are the tools I want to use. I don't want to have to spend a year learning to do something else. I want to work with what I'm comfortable with. And then after a while I sit there and go, well, then how come the thing I'm not getting done isn't done? And I kind of wonder, the argument of procrastination, is it anxiety? Is it a fear that you're not going to live up to your own expectations? Do you have that, Ian?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, sometimes I even worry about like my parents thinking I'm a failure or something. You know, that's what I really worry about.
Well, I mean, I don't really worry about my parents thinking about that because they've pretty much decided already.
I assume that my parents think I'm a failure, and then I'm like, okay, I'm already a failure, so I can only get better.
I mean, that's kind of the assumption with a lot of artists is like everyone just, like, oh, I'm an art guy. Oh, so you live, I mean, I was watching this interview with the guy who does the oatmeal, and, he was talking about, like, when he tells people that he's a cartoonist, they're like, oh, that's cute, so what's your day job? And he's like, no, like, I have a book, and oh, so you self-publish it? And no, it's actually by a real publisher, and, like, they can't seem to wrap their heads around that, like, he makes money at it, and it's what he does for a living, and, it's...
I mean, I
don't know.
I'd like to correct Nate, though. I don't think he's a failure myself, and I don't think you're a failure, Bennett. But it's hard for me because, I mean, to begin with, I'm the type of person that I want like my dad especially to be proud of me and stuff. I mean, I don't want to follow in his footsteps, but I've always wanted to make him proud.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is, it's like, I don't want to be one of those hoity-toity people that says our generation and everything, but it's like, like, our parents, versus, like, us, I don't think they're going to understand where we come from, the same way their parents didn't understand them. So, I'm sure, I'm sure all our parents love us. It's just, some of them might look and go, yeah, they should just get their head on their shoulders and get married and have some kids and get a real job. The real job story. Oh, don't you just love that one?
Yeah. But I mean, you don't have, there's not like anywhere inside of you, Ben, where you would look forward to, finally making it and then just being able to show like your dad or whatever. See, I can't make it. I made a name for myself,
Well, I mean, there's a level of there's a level I want to show my family that I've made it. I mean, going back to the whole making it conversation, it's like I'd like to show my family that I'm successful, that I'm that I can make a living doing what I want. I don't have to do just do what I want on the weekends or whatever. But by the same token, it's like I've shown my parents my stuff and they don't get it. Like, I've had the discussion with my mom about, like, she doesn't understand why somebody would have a painting on their wall or why people would have art. It's like, why? It's just a thing, and, it's like, it's just something to spend money on. And I'm like, I went to school for art. It's like, it was kind of my focus. It's kind of a thing and,
well,
yeah.
It's hard, too, because, like, my stepmom, like I said to you before, she thinks, like, the 3D animation, she thinks that you draw all that by hand.
I mean, there are people. There was the argument with the Oscars recently. The whole animation, section of it, the Academy and everything. People are like, the biggest thing that got the nod for it was Frozen because it was Disney and that was the only one that they knew. And a lot of people in the Academy voting for the Oscars for animation is they always think anime films are automatically for kids, and it's. Animation shouldn't be a genre in the thing. It's like, there can be little kid animated films, but there can be serious animated films. It'd be like saying, all live action movies have to be, situation comedies, or they all have to be westerns. It's like, no, you can make any kind of live action movie, and you can do the same with an animated film.
Yeah, well, it's just the animation, 2D or 3D. And the style of it is just a tool to get across the storyline,
I mean, CG and stop motion, all that stuff, it kind of, like, lends itself to the fantastical and the, stuff that might be kiddie fair because it's funner and brighter and more lively. Because if you're trying to do, like, a serious dialogue-heavy drama, I don't know if animation is gonna, like, it's gonna feel like a lot of grunt work. Like, could you imagine a War and Peace as, like, an animated film? I don't know. I mean, there are some serious animated films, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody could make it brilliant if an artist really felt like it.
Yeah. Well, it would. I have to admit though, to me it's a lot of drama type things with, like, if you're doing a soap opera or something, then animating it might be easier because it'd probably just be like a lot of just like standing there and talking and just doing mostly lip syncing, you know.
Well,
You're talking about animated soap opera.
Yeah.
I'd watch that maybe for like 5 minutes.
well, I mean, you think about King of the Hill, and a lot of the commentary with that is like when they pitched it, it could have been live action, it could have been animated, and a lot of people are like, well, why is it animated if it's not making full use of the potential of the medium? And it's like, well, does every cartoon have to be slapsticky and insane? I don't know if I don't think it does. I mean, I think there's room for the King of the Hills. I mean, King of the Hill is also it's like a lot of Mike Judge films. It's kind of a slow burn kind of comedy where a lot of the jokes you look back and go, hey, remember that one time? There's, it's like there's not an episode that like is really, outrageously hilarious, but you sing up, oh yeah, remember that one guy who said that one thing?
Yeah. And you could have that, like, that vertical highlight strike, like an anime, go across the eyes to make it more dramatic.
Oh man, the animes.
Well, was there? I mean, you're pretty quiet over there, Nate. Was there any things that you had on your mind about?
No. The
cat
seems
objects.
to have more on his mind than me.
Yeah.
She does. I want to get involved. I want to tell you about my theories on anime and how come everything got best after.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to say is Nate introduced me to. I mean, I knew about it a little bit looking online, but did you hear about all that those buckyballs, the controversy with those? Have you heard of buckyballs?
I've heard of them, but it's been a long time. What's the controversy?
Well, they're like really strong magnetic, tiny little beads that, I mean, you could like make sculptures and stuff out of it. It's pretty cool. It's like very three-dimensional, you know. That's probably why since I'm into the 3D stuff, that's probably why I find it interesting. He's let me borrow some of them, but
Yeah, they're really cool.
yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, like I said, they've made like a pistol, like a giant pistol sculpture out of them, or it's just like with Legos, you can, if you got the time, you can do it, But
I guess a couple of kids swallowed them and like it pinched their intestines and
yeah,
they died.
that's the thing, is that they're pretty much banned. Like a lot of the companies, like the manufacturers of them, have been shut down because a lot of people complain with the children when they swallow these magnetic beads, like multiple beads. They'll like, since they're magnetic, they'll like pinch the insides, and that'll like they're really hard to remove surgically, I guess. So, and it'll mess up your insides.
Yeah. I mean, you have the same thing in the UK with the Kinder Surprise. It's like it's a chocolate egg with a toy inside. And it's like in the US, like, little wonder why that's not allowed here.
Oh, they had something like that, and then they got rid of it. It was called it was a Nestle Wonder Ball. It was like chocolate, and then it had a plastic thing inside of it, and then it had a toy inside it, and then like a month later they were gone. I'm like, what happened to that?
Yeah, because they were trying to knock off Kinder Surprise, and America, people raise a stink like, no, this will cause choking, and it's really a choking hazard issue, I think. I mean, in the UK they're like, no, it's not a choking hazard. It's it's like you just have to be intelligent. Yeah, but so many kids suffocate or die from it. Can you hear the TV in the other room? I'm sorry. It's just that's the fun of having a tiny house. I don't know what she's watching in there, but it's very loud. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just, for me, I mean, like, I don't know. It's you would probably you might disagree, but I think it just goes back to the parental responsibility type thing.
Well, absolutely. It's like there's so many people, and they have trampolines. More people die on trampolines than from buckyballs. And it's not like the parents are even watching the kids on the trampolines. I think it's just
Well-
because everybody's sue crazy. They
Well,
want to sue someone.
Well, you think about it, more people die from cows than by sharks. And yet, people are terrified of them, and they think they're doing, a good job by hunting them to extinction. Anytime a shark shows up, people are like, kill it, kill it. And like, no. It's,
Well, I mean,
So,
even just like ignoring that, it's just that it's like we're all kids in school, and it's like one thing has to ruin it for everybody. It's like, oh, well, so not even adults can't get it. It's almost impossible to find online. I mean, you can find some knockoff things like the Zen balls, I guess, were pretty nice. They were saying, I guess, but they've been shut down, and it's hard to find them on like eBay even too.
And like the worst thing is when you ban a toy, someone's gonna try and knock it off, and it's made with cheaper stuff. Like it's with a lot of the other ones, they have lead in them.
Yeah, so that
Well-
might be worse.
well, let's be honest, though. Knockoffs show up whenever a thing gets popular. It doesn't matter if you're trying to ban it. I mean,
Exactly.
the thing I've been watching is if you watch another reviewer I watch, Phalis, he does the bootleg zone, where he often talks about Chinese Ninja Turtles toys, and then
Oh,
he had
I've seen some of those. They're
and then he had a Thomas the Tank Engine transformer,
oh,
and
the
then he
mega
had
one? Oh,
Yeah.
that was $50. I wanted to buy that.
yeah, there's that. He had the Thomas the Tank one just looks creepy, but then he had one that turned into the Batmobile transformer. So yeah, but you're gonna just see bootleg toys from. I mean, especially since a lot of things are made in China, and the copyright laws and run kind of rampant over there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, actually, I really haven't like thoroughly introduced Nate. I guess I mean he's into video games, and he does like to collect toys and sell them. He makes a decent amount of money from that. Like a lot of toys he still has in the packages are. Some of them he said could be worth hundreds of dollars, and he collects some cards or whatever that are worth a lot of money. I have some comic book cards that I've got back when I was in high school that had some signatures and stuff on them, which I was going to have them take a look at to see if they're maybe even worth some money,
Everything is worth money. It's just how much.
It's
and
the demand,
It's the demand.
And for who?
Yeah.
Right.
If people are looking for it, great. If not, well, wait another 20 years. I mean,
Yep.
I'm sure there's going to be people that are hardcore into Pogs.
Oh, I remember
Oh,
those, man.
Pogs. Yeah.
They came back for a little bit in like 2004 or something, but then I don't know.
remember. I bought some. They were Michael Jordan Pogs. I spent my whole allowance
Michael
on them.
Jordan Pogs.
Yeah, they were official Michael Jordan Pogs. Like he said, this is okay. Put my face on them.
I mean, sure, I sell underwear and T-shirts, but whatever.
That's hilarious.
So what do you guys think about his whole mustache thing? The new Michael Jordan mustache? Kind of looks like...
The cat has
I don't know
opinions.
much about it myself.
The cat has opinions. That is fantastic.
I personally don't think his mustache could look any more awkward than John Hodgman's. So
Yeah. Well, but I mean, what about you, Ben? Do you have anything sort of like, like geeky as far on that type of level? Do you know any kind of, or I mean, do you not know? Do you have anything that might be worth money?
well, the thing is, like, I bought comic books in the 90s, but we all know the speculator boom. It's like those things won't be worth anything till the rest of the world is nuked, and I'm the only one holding them. So,
Right.
when I was in like middle school, for a thing they had cards. For, kids would collect cards, and they'd hand them out if you got certain good grades, or you weren't such a delinquent, and you could either get football or basketball, or you could get comic books. And like comic book cards. Well, the art looks nice, I guess. I mean, I didn't really read a lot of the ones I got, so it was like, oh, this nice gold foil stamped whatever hologram thing. It looks pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, comic books, like, I don't know. I liked a lot of J. Scott Campbell stuff, so, like, I had a couple of Gen 13 things, and I had Danger Girl was a fun series. So there's the cover where the car they're driving is shaped like boobs, because see. So yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. Well, and when I say geeky, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean,
I'm a geek. I know that.
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say I consider myself and Ben to be more of nerds, and yeah, I guess you would be more of a geeky type. But what would you define both of those as, and like the differences?
When you're collecting toys, you're a geek. Like, if you're collecting them, then you got them in the box, and they're in your closet, and you're just like, nope, you can't play with those.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Hamill had it in his contract that he gets a copy of every Star Wars toy that comes out. So he's got, like, every edition of the Star Wars toys that were made. It's still in box. So it's like, yeah, that guy, even if he doesn't work anymore, he's got his future set.
I'm just surprised Nate here. He's never heard of Chris Pirillo.
Yeah. He's never heard of a YouTube internet personality? The douche, you say.
I'm pretty dumb as far as, like, the internet goes. Like, it's like, so I saw the cat playing the piano, like, last year. Like, the end of last year in December. And it's like,
Keyboard Katie.
Yeah, I saw the
Play him off, Keyboard Cat.
in December. And I'm like going around, it's like, did you guys see the Keyboard Cat? And they're like, yes. 3 years ago.
Well, I mean,
See,
that's
I like
viral stuff. I'm pretty slow on it too myself.
Well, internet stuff, it's like, I like seeing an occasional funny thing, but that's about it. I'll see it and I'll forget about it. Because I get a little concerned when, like, people meeting people out at, like, a convention or something that are all about the memes, and, like, they have this, they know, like, oh yeah, and there's the lolcats, and then this and that, and, like, okay, you start talking about Grumpy Cat in the flesh, and you're just like, this just sounds weird. I have a bunch of people talking about this thing that's internet stuff on just forums. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big forum person, I guess.
Well,
they have their place.
Yeah. But you're right though, Nate. I guess, because I've always tried to think about the differences between like a hardcore geek and nerd, and I guess geeks are more about collecting and like the physical, like just physical objects more than a nerd is more about knowledge, I guess,
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, that, like, nowadays, geek culture has, has, like, become self-aware, and it's like, no, if I'm a geek, it's cool because I'm part of a culture now, and it's like, there are people that have geeky interests who have decided that they're not going to identify as geeks anymore, because it's like, identifying as a brony, it's like identifying as, a this or a that. There's a culture of things that's like that kind of, like if you're a gamer, it's like, oh hey, games are cool, and it's like, if I meet a girl that's into games, like that's awesome. But yet there are, if you listen to Xbox Live, when they realize somebody in the game is a girl, all of a sudden everything goes, make me a sandwich, and this and that. It's like that, is that really the community that, like, people that are supposed to be doing this thing that was an outsider hobby, something that, nerdy people and geeky people who didn't really have a lot of friends in high school that all band together, and we're supposed to, support these outsider people, and it's like, oh, we're going to treat so-and-so like crap, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, you think you've seen it all when you've heard of, like, bronies or whatever, and then Nate introduces me today to the furry con.
Yeah, like,
that's,
it gives
that's
me
cutie,
shivers.
and I can show you things, Ian. I can show you things.
Both of you keep away from me.
I can show you things that would make you go into the shower and cry and try to scrub it off, and it just won't come off, Ian. It just won't. I mean, I saw a film, I think it was Alice's Adventures in Furryland, I think was the name of it. I think it was a BBC documentary. And, like, the host, she was, meeting people that were into the whole furry lifestyle, and, it was just fun for her, at the time, the people dressing up as mascots and, collecting furry art and into animals and stuff, like, oh, animals are cute. But then she started realizing that her friends were into the sex stuff of it, and it got kind of weird, and she's like, I don't know anymore. I don't understand. So, I don't know. So, yeah. But that's, the thing is, though, it's like, I mean, there are people that are into just like, the thing is, it's like, you can like cartoon animals just fine. Like, everybody loves DuckTales. It doesn't matter who you are. DuckTales was a good show. And a bunch of other Disney afternoon shows were, talking animals, cartoon animals, that stuff was alright. Then some people made it kind of weird. But, there's that, and there's all kinds of other, things that some people have kind of latched onto and make it kind of hard to search Google image search it for without stumbling onto things that you don't want to find.
Throwing up a little bit in your mouth. You're like, oh, I'm gonna Google search this.
Yeah. Google image search.
Image
yeah, it's
search.
like, well, the other day you asked me to Google image search something, Nate, and I was like, oh boy, what am I gonna get now?
Especially if you don't have if you have safe search off, like I do, like everybody should.
Yeah.
Because I like taking my own nausea-inducing, I don't know. It's always fun, like when you find like a page that everything's just normal, but then there's some naked person just in the middle of out of nowhere. You're like, where did this come from? I was, like I'm just looking at recipes for guacamole, and then all of a sudden there's people doing it. Like, I guess some
That
page
happened
somewhere.
on eBay the other day. Somebody wanted me to look up. It was a Michael Jackson picture disc. So I type in Michael Jackson picture disc, and then all of a sudden there's like a naked chick, and I'm like, what? What does that have to do with Michael Jackson?
Well, I mean, to be fair though, I'm pretty sure Google image search is just throwing the things up that it thinks most people are wanting. Like, okay, most of the people here are coming looking. Well, I don't know. I think people want boobs. I mean, the thing is with eBay though, it's like whatever the thing somebody's selling, they'll find some hot chick to take a picture with it because that's what people want to do.
Yeah, you gotta have that bikini model on that sports car,
Yeah, cause.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean and even that type of, you think that Google image search is such a wild west, but have you guys ever heard of the dark web? Now that's supposed to be the real wild west of the internet, which is, I don't know, have you guys heard of it? It's most of the way that you access the dark web is like you have to use like some kind of browser called usually it's people use like the Tor browser or whatever, and like most of the addresses on the dark web are like .onion or whatever,
How to access the dark web. First you gotta draw a pentagram, then you gotta have a salt circle, and then you light candles.
Yeah. But I mean, it's supposed to be a place where you could get, you could get do black market type stuff, like drug deals, or, you could even, there's a lot of child pornography type stuff on it. It's more of a full spectrum of things on there,
I thought that was Craigslist.
Well, Craigslist, it could go pretty far, but I mean, I don't know.
Craigslist and Yahoo Answers are just, a place where you look at the internet and go, this is what happens when people get a microphone and go, hey, how is Babby formed? So.
Yeah. I mean, there's even, places I've heard on the dark web where you can, you can do, go to Hitman and stuff, I mean, I'm sure you could do that on the regular internet to begin with, but things are, a lot more open on there,
Hitman. I just, when you think about, people that, put a hit out on somebody, I could understand if there's, a stalker that's, ruining your life or something, maybe. But, the people that, they want to have their spouse they put a contract out on them. I'm just I don't know what how your relationship gets to the point, but at that point, I would just throw my hands up in the air and go, no, that's good, I'm out. Yeah. I don't know.
Actually, I'll give you guys a link to the wiki on the dark web. That's going to mean anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally going to get me on some flag on the FBI list. Oh, thanks, Ian.
Yeah. Wiki.
I don't know. That just makes me think when I was watching Penn and Teller's show and they were talking about Ouija boards. And it's like, it seems like the hokiest thing because it's like all these people surround. They're like, oh, we're going to have the spirits point us. It's like you all have your hands on a thing and you're obviously, very obviously pointing it towards yes and no. I don't know. I mean, the whole time I'm watching that, I'm just thinking, I don't believe in ghosts. Like, I love Ghostbusters and that kind of stuff seems cool and awesome, but I know it's all fantasy because that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I remember me and my parents were watching, I guess, Ghost Hunters, and they had, it was the season finale, and my dad taped it, because it was interesting at first, but then we noticed that, their big scoop with the Dark Spectre, he had Nike tennis shoes. Generally, ghosts don't wear Nike tennis shoes, so pretty sure it's fake.
I don't know. I mean, when you start talking about, ghosts are one of those things, like a lot of stuff on the internet, where once you say it out loud, you think, oh no, that just sounds really stupid. Okay, so when you die, you're floating around and you can kind of talk to people through somebody else a little bit, and you kind of don't really know you're dead, and it's like, that just doesn't make any kind of sense to me.
But this deep web, I guess I put a couple links on there, but there's the amount of information it's like 80% to 20%. There's 80% of information of the whole internet that's in the dark web, and there's only 20 information on the surface web, the web that you go to every day, and you could easily find.
So wait, the 20% that's really awful isn't really awful?
Yeah.
Aw, that's gross. I don't want to see something from the deep web.
It's all the full spectrum.
I have friends that are internet atrocity tourists, that they go and find forums where people share stuff that it's like, why do you seek this out? What? I don't know. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be like the regular internet is I don't know, something it's just Ohio, and then the rest of the internet is the rest of the world,
Oh, so
as adventuring out.
Oh, so our internet is only relevant every 4 years. So, but I remember reading back about Web 2.0 or Internet 2.0. It was not not web apps and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about there was a thing where schools had really high speed and fast connections where they could share all kinds of files, and that and it's a certain web that people like us weren't on. And the thing was that it's a lot of file sharing because you've got these high speed connections, and it's even people that run the dorms are sharing entire TV shows and movies, because if you have that kind of power, eventually, I don't know.
Speaking of power, I think I just saw a door. There's lightning bolts outside.
Oh, you didn't know the Transformer got hit by lightning?
Oh, that's what you're saying. Where did that happen at?
Here.
What, just outside of our apartment?
Yeah.
So, why do we still have power then?
Because we have a backup.
A backup transformer, or are we on a backup battery?
I think we're on backup, maybe. The power flicked because a bunch of people said their TVs went off. It was weird. So I don't know why we still have power, honestly.
Yeah. If we go out, I hope you have a nice day, Ben.
Yeah, your place gets hit by a lightning, and then your computer comes to life and zaps you into the cyberzone. I'd really like to see a movie that takes that whole horrible late 80s and early 90s cliche of the cyber webs and what what people think anytime a computer comes to life by getting hit by lightning, I'm in. It's stupid, I know, but I have to watch it.
Or Superman, you have that woman get thrown into all the servers and stuff, and she starts becoming a cyborg or something, you know.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I don't know. I mean, there's that weird science. There's that computer beach party. I think some of these movies. I don't know. I remember I saw this one movie on USA Up All Night where they had like a computer, I think, got hit by lightning or something, where like it was making the guy's dreams come to life. So he'd see like half naked women and stuff. And for the life of me, I'm like, what is this movie that I'm remembering? This is one of those films I saw when I was like, a very early teenager, and I saw it late at night, and then I try to find it later, and I'm like, I have no idea what that was, and people don't believe me that it exists. So
that sounds like that. What was that movie, Lawnmower Man or whatever?
No.
Do you know that?
I think I know what movie he's talking about. I don't remember the title, but like, it was like about a computer development company, and they were like trying to make like, I guess, a cyber girl or something, and then the cyber girl got like jealous.
I just remember there was this scene where like he meets the girl that like he's trying to convince his friend like, dude, there's this chick that shows up. He's like, there's nobody here but you and me, man. It's fine. As soon as the one guy leaves, she shows up. He's like, why don't you stick around till my friend gets here? And he's like, she's in his head, I guess. And he's like, oh, well, here, just sit here and eat a bowl of cereal. So she eats like 3 bowls of cereal in a row. Like, I don't know what's going on in this movie. I don't know. I mean, there are movies when I describe them to people. Like, I remember watching Sex and the Single Alien as a teenager. And that's a movie where I only managed to find clips on YouTube of it by people that had a hypnosis fetish. And I bet you didn't know that people could have a hypnosis fetish until I just told you. So, but the web movie site Everything is Terrible. I believe it's Everything is Terrible. Maybe it's Everything is Horrible. But they made a clip show trailer of the movie to try and explain it. This guy, the plot of the movie. This guy, he's undersexed, right? He really wants to do it all the time, but his wife is obsessed with UFOs, so she doesn't want to do it with him, because this is like, Married with Children, era, so like, oh, obviously the wife doesn't want to do it. So the guy decides to have an affair, and his friend gets him this hot air balloon with this fog generator and these lights, so he picks him up in it, and his wife thinks that he's being abducted by a UFO. It works once, and he goes and has an affair, but then the next time he does it, oh, he's actually picked up by a UFO, and the UFO gives him the aliens give him the power to look at a woman and concentrate, and she'll have this fantasy and orgasm by feeling him in her body, even though he's just looking at her. So
it's like orgasmo.
Not quite. Like there's a scene where he gets picked up by he hitchhikes and gets picked up by this guy and this woman, and he looks at the guy's woman, and she gets off, and the one guy goes, "What'd you do? Did you rape my lady?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sitting right here. You were closer. You should know what I did." He's like, "You raped my lady." He's like, "I raped your lady." Uh-huh. and they drive off and like fight, and like, what did we just see? I don't know. It's a weird movie. And USA Up All Night, man. I watched a lot of that as a kid, because I had nothing to do late at night.
You loved that Darkwing Duck, didn't you?
What? No, that wasn't on USA Up All Night.
Well, it was on USA, wasn't it?
Darkwing Duck was Disney Afternoon.
What was that one with the... Oh, no, not Darkwing Duck. I mean, Duckman.
Duckman was alright.
Have any of you guys seen Howard Duck?
Howard the Duck? Yes.
Yeah.
With the duck boobs. I remember as a kid watching that because, ducks were a thing. Like, there were a lot of duck comics, and there were, duck movies and cartoons. And you see that, and even as a kid, I'm going, boy, this is messed up. Why? What are they trying to like? I'm like, the effects aren't there right now. I don't know why they're trying to do this movie. I don't know. Oh boy.
But you know you end up watching it because, like, this is going to be really horrible. Let's see how horrible it'll be.
Doesn't like, isn't there a human chick in that movie who like flirts with him and they kind of like, I can't remember. Just seems
And they're in
weird.
like a band, and then like.
Of course they're in a
aliens
band.
come.
Of
Yeah,
course
they
they're-
always have a band. Exactly.
I mean, granted, I watched a lot of like trauma films, you know, on USA Up All Night. So I watch those, you know, Class of Nukem High and stuff like that, and
Oh, I saw that one. That was awful.
the Toxic Avengers. And
Taxi.
I tried recently to watch a trauma film on, I think it was Hulu. They had a dinosaur, nympho barbarian in Dinosaur Hell, or something like that. And the problem was that, like, within 5 minutes, they had the main character and everybody else repeat the title of the film like 5 times. So, like, I was just a high school girl or whatever until the apocalypse came by and turned everybody into dinosaurs. Now I'm a nymphoid barbarian in Dinosaur Hell. I'm like, okay, stop. It was kind of funny the first time.
They're trying to brainwash people. Subliminal messaging.
I mean, I understand the idea of purposely bad filmmaking, but sometimes there's a level of, okay, you are trying too hard to make this a thing, guys. It's not a thing. Just stop with the Google Plusing it.
That's like Machine Gun Girl. That is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It was either Machine Gun Girl or like Machine Girl. Hands down. We got it up to 4 stars on Netflix because we have a large family.
I don't know, man. I've seen some pretty schlocky and horrible movies. I mean, was it the Machine Gun Girl and Frankenstein Girl movie where the buildings start bleeding?
Like, it was about this girl and she gets her arm cut off and then it gets replaced with like a machine gun. And there's like this scene where they're trying to like there's this Japanese lady and she's like screaming and she's like trying to like deep fry the girl's hand. And the effects are horrible. I mean, it is the worst, like, horribly written, horrible effects movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And I searched those things out.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Fried in that Toxic Avenger movie.
Oh, it was worse than Nukem High. And that one was pretty bad.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I mean, I always need to remind people that my favorite bad movie is Star Crash. So, that's the movie that has David Hasselhoff lightsaber fighting a stop motion robot. So,
Well, what do you guys think about the Rotten Tomatoes rating system? Do you think they're pretty decent?
Like, I don't have a bad example queued up, so yeah, so far, yes. Until they screw up, they're great. And then when they screw up, someone's gonna probably rub it in their face.
What about you, Ben?
yeah, I mean, they just collect what, critics and audience people overall give. So usually they're pretty accurate. I mean, the ones that are abysmally bad are probably deserving of it. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you personally think is the worst movie you've ever seen, Ian?
The worst movie I've ever seen. I really haven't seen too many, so I mean, I'm trying to think. The only thing that's popping in my head, I mean, I've probably seen worse movies, but I just can't think of them. But the worst is probably the Toxic Avenger, That offhand.
No, Ian. The Toxic Avenger, it may not be your cup of tea, but it's not the worst movie by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm sure, man.
I could show you some things. I can show you the world. Horrible, crappy movies.
Well, I mean, if you want to go mainstream, I guess the worst movie would probably be like more of like girl type things, is like Mean Girls or something like that. That's pretty bad.
I don't know. I'd heard good things about Mean Girls. I mean, Mean Girls, it still has to be better than Bratz. So...
Bratz, or... Well,
or Baby Geniuses.
Yeah.
They made like how many of those movies?
I think like it was like 6. Well, it was more like 2, but it seemed like 6.
Yeah.
After I bashed my brains in a few times.
I mean, Kyle is my bad movie buddy, and even he saw Baby Geniuses and said, no, just whatever you do, like you think you're going to go in and just laugh at, no. No. Just stay far, far away.
Right. Well, the problem is a lot of the bad movies you know, you're talking about is a lot of them are, you know, like back in the day. So I don't really have much experience watching a lot of older type movies. You know.
Well, there's
Machine Gun
levels
Girls,
of bad.
The company
Go
that
ahead.
made them, they also make Tokyo Gore Police. So like, it's still the worst one. The second worst one is it was like President Theodore Roosevelt, a werewolf hunter, and he gets bitten, and then he contracts polio. So he has to go kill the werewolf that gave him polio.
Yes, I've seen reviews of that one. It's just, you know, there are levels of bad movie. There's so bad it's awesome, like, you know, Birdemic. That movie, like, you know, The Room, you know, stuff like that. These are bad movie night bad movies, where there's still a lot of, you know, ironic enjoyment out of them. Then there's bad movies that it's a lot of, you know, I think the worst crime a lot of bad movies have is being boring. So a lot of bad movies, you're like, a lot of bad movies you can just fall asleep to. And then there are some that you watch them and I'm like, I'm offended. Like, this movie killed something and hurt me inside. I need to tell people about it. I mean, when I saw Birdemic, it was basically, like, you know the high you feel when you watch a really good movie? Imagine the polar opposite of that, where you come out you see the light at the end of the tunnel of the movie and go, no, wait, what? Wait, what? Wait. What?
Yeah. Well, it's like you said. There's varying levels of it, but there's also the varying levels of, like I said, the popularity of it, or like the, you know, like people that know about it, you know, because you know a lot of stuff that nobody's even heard of, you know.
Yeah, I saw a movie during one of our bad movie nights that recently popped up on the Cinema Snobs Sasquatch Week. He had To Catch a Yeti with Meatloaf. And
Oh, that's great.
I remember watching that movie, and he was, the entire time he was like, this is the worst piece of crap. He was so very angry, and I'm just like, you know, it's not a terrible film. It's really dopey, but it's watchable. Now, Nazis at the center of the earth, that... I don't know.
I refuse to see Human Centipede 2.
Yeah, the first one's actually, you know, worth checking out if you're at all interested in goofy, like, I don't know. It worked for what it was, but I heard the second one is just everything you were afraid you'd see in the first one, so I have no interest.
Yeah. That's what you said.
I mean, I've seen Caligula, so...
Now, what was that about?
Caligula is about the Roman Emperor Caligula, played by Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, see, I don't know much about that as far as history goes, you know.
Well, it was financed, but the guy who produced it was the guy who ran Penthouse magazine. So there's scenes of like lesbian sex and just all kinds of freaky stuff. Like the scene where Malcolm McDowell's peeing on a couch, and then there's a scene where his character interrupts this wedding to deflower the bride, and then he takes the groom and puts a ring on and shoves his fist up the guy's butt, and Yeah, it's just a lot of like insanity. There's a machine in the movie that's that's just built to you bury people up to their necks in the sand in the dirt or whatever, and then they roll out this machine and it just cuts their heads off. And it's like, okay, that we've obviously reached the realm of whatever we can throw in here. But when you look in the background in Caligula, there's like the guy with like two heads growing out of his stomach or whatever, and there's like all these freaks in the scene. There's just stuff to see in that movie. But the problem is it's so long. Like I watched it like the only reason I would ever watch it again would be if I could watch it on a big screen and actually see some of the stuff that was kind of compressed down from the picture I was looking at.
Yeah. But actually, I think I'd correct myself on that Toxic Avenger. I think the worst movie as far as like horror and gore goes, I think the worst movie I've probably seen was that House of a Thousand Corpses by that Rob Zombie. Have you ever seen that?
No. I heard. Well, the thing is, I heard like that was like his second film, wasn't it? So I basically heard
that was the first one. There was a sequel. I think that one was called The Devil's Rejects.
Okay, 'cause I guess that
was
one
pretty bad too.
I don't know. I basically heard everyone saying that the sequel is better than his first movie, but then again, nobody cares for the Halloween remakes, so I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I like Rob Zombie. I like Rob Zombie, but he kind of has his themes that he goes for and trying to make everything vaguely 70s, and I don't know. It's like the horror thing about Michael in the original movies was you didn't really know a lot about him, and in this one you spend the whole time in his head, like in his nagging mom.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Weren't you talking the other day, Nate, about what was your opinion on who's the guy that does like the Kill Bill movies, the director?
Quentin Tarantino?
I forget it. What?
Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah, definitely Quentin Tarantino.
Wasn't me.
You weren't talking about him?
Nah.
What do you think about him?
I don't know. You mean as a guy, as like a director?
Yeah, just as a director.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I'm not gonna try and judge him on the spot. Like,
have you seen any of his movies, like the Kill Bill movies, or?
I saw like the second Kill Bill movie, and then I'm like, well, this doesn't make much sense. There must have been a first one that I missed.
Oh, so you probably saw the second one then.
I saw the second one. They got like a sword, and then there was like a snake pop out of a briefcase.
Yeah, that was the second one. Well, weren't you talking? Didn't you have opinions about him, Ben?
I like him. I like that he has a unique idea of where he wants to go, but I kind of think people put a little too much emphasis on him. Like he was the new hotness for a while, but now he's kind of, I don't know. He's kind of like Tim Burton, I guess, in that he's got his thing, and if you like it, you can like his films. But then sometimes it's like, oh, he's doing his thing again, and like that whole telling stories out of sequence thing. I can understand it working in the film that requires it, or like it can be a nice way to look at the story. But sometimes it's like, just tell a straight story. I don't need that.
Yeah. Well, my only problem with them, I think he's a great director, but my only problem with them, and I realize it probably shouldn't even matter, but it's just like he's supposed to be this badass director making these badass movies, and then you actually see him and he looks like Stephen Hawking or something,
I wouldn't say that. Besides, I mean, how many, look at pretty much any famous director and look at what they look like. What did you expect them to look like, Ian? I mean,
well, because of the last name, I thought he was like Spanish or something, and so I thought he would look like that guy from Machete or something,
You thought he would look like Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Machete. Anyway.
I don't know, it's just like
you envision them as like something, and then you see what they actually look like, and then you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it's like you're let down in a way, almost, you know?
It's like when you listen to people's voice on the radio, and then you're like, wow, they must be really attractive, and then you see them, and they're, like, really not attractive.
That's why we do an audio podcast.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Lay the knowledge
You
down.
have a webcam,
Face
but
for radio.
You decide to keep it on your logo that you call sexy. Your sexy logo, right?
Look at all that shadow and the stroke and oh yeah. Anyway.
We're not looking at it.
You're looking at it, all right.
Oh, you're controlling our computer remotely, like in a lot of those scams where it says, "Oh yeah, we'll help fix your computer. We'll get rid of this malware off of it." There, you know.
That we installed.
Yeah.
Yes, your Windows computer is infected. I love getting those messages on Skype, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't want to tell them I'm on a Mac, because then they'll just change their scam. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh man. It's great. Internet's great. So, are we moving on to trivia or whatnot, Ian? You think it's about time?
I don't know if unless
yeah, go ahead.
Nate has anything to say here.
Trivia time.
Well, okay. Well, I figured it'd be cool to maybe do some more video game. And more lightning. I was gonna say
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening.
I was gonna ask your opinion because I am worried about this power going out. What are your thoughts on battery backups and stuff? I personally think unless if you get like a really expensive one, they're not really useful because the cheaper ones they can't pick up in that millisecond it takes for the battery to start turning on as soon as the power goes out, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same with surge protectors and everything else. It's like, you know, unless you're getting something that's really expensive and has a big warranty to cover the thing that you know, it's like at that point, you should really just unplug stuff. It's like if it's a real bad storm, I unplug mine because it's like I don't need to worry about it frying the surge protector and then frying my computer too.
Or you just plug in like 5 surge protectors over top of each other.
And then you start a fire like on Mythbusters with Christmas trees.
Right. Like, I saved my computer, but it blew up because I set it on fire.
Yeah. And then then you have a tornado going outside, which then it's like, well, the computer is the last thing you should worry about then.
I don't know. I saw a mobile home not too far from here that, like, you know, you drive up on it like, oh, it looks untouched until, oh, this one side of it is just open. It's like, well, that got hit by something.
Yeah. Have you been through a tornado or known anybody to?
I have. They've touched down nearby, but I haven't been through anything. But I've heard a lot of warnings. I mean, the last one that came through, it was like really windy and stormy outside. But okay, my phone had that tornado warning.
Have you, Nate?
Yeah, over by my parents' house, we had a tree in our side yard. It ripped it from the roots. Our house was fine, but the tree wasn't. Like, it was a big tree. It was like you pulling out weeds, but they're trees. It was kind of scary.
That's tornadoes for you, man. I mean, it's not like the movie
we found
Twister.
Our, like, white lawn chair, and like it was like one neighborhood over.
Not like the movie Twister, where all you need to do is tie a belt to a pipe and you'll be fine. That movie, man.
Yeah, that's another thing we forgot to mention. In like you were talking about, like that black box of things, like, you know, like computers or like lightning giving people powers and stuff. It's like, yeah, you have all these things with the weather doing certain things, you know, like with
I mean,
day after tomorrow, where you have a column of ice coming down and freezing everybody, you know.
Well, Day After Tomorrow, that was Roland Emmerich and his whole thing. I mean, he has the world is wanting to get rid of you guys. That's kind of his thing. But
Yeah,
Twister
we're a disease.
Twister is more like basically, like it kind of, in my opinion, after I mean, it's a climate, thing. It's like nature is acting. It's just basically, it's like you've already got movies about sharks. You've got movies about killer rabbits. You've got movies about killer sheep. So next, it's killer weather. So here's a movie about that. Now what? Now what do we got? Sharknado. So
Sharknado. They're coming out with the second one.
Sharknado
Yeah.
2.
more
And
Sharknado.
that guy on the Howard Stern show, Benji Bronk, he's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
But I remember Howard Stern was all upset with him because he found out that the people making Sharknado 2, they were on Kickstarter or whatever, and he thought that it was like a full legit production company or whatever doing it. He didn't think that they needed any help monetarily.
Well, I mean, that Shaq Fu 2 was on Indiegogo, so.
Yeah.
Shaq Fu 2.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's McDonald's, man.
I know it is.
Now I'm just picturing Deepest Bluest. My head is like a shark's fin, and then that makes me think of that movie Stealth. Remember that, where the impenetrable airplane gets hit by lightning and decides that humanity's evil, and then it had Jamie Foxx in it, and I don't know. Yeah. All right, so video game trivia.
Okay, yeah. For the people that don't know, and I don't think I told Nate I told him we do trivia, but I usually do 10 questions of trivia facts, and then we usually take 10 questions of a quiz, related to whatever I'm talking about. Like this week, we're gonna do games again, That's all right with you, sir. Ben.
Oh, me, sir. I thought you were looking at our guest Nate Dogg, sir.
No, he's gonna do whatever I tell him to.
Oh, so my dancing monkey has his own dancing monkey, huh? Pull the strings,
yeah.
pull the strings. All right.
So that's why I'm gonna have to ask for 2 peanuts. So when you give me a peanut, if I have to give it to him, then I get nothing.
Wait, I get 5 peanuts. That was the deal, right?
There's no deal of 5 peanuts.
I get 5 peanuts.
Well, okay, you could have 5 peanuts if I have 5 peanuts. So then Ben's got to give us 10 peanuts.
As long as you give me 2 of your 5 peanuts, and then I get 7 peanuts, we're square.
I'm just sitting here going, why do you want 5 penis? What? I'm
Peanuts.
confused.
Peanuts.
I know, but that's
know
what
what
it
you're
sounds
thinking
like.
about.
It just sounds like you're saying.
That's what your mind is telling you. That's
Airline
just
peanuts.
subconscious.
Alright. So,
Anyways.
trivia. Facts you don't know. Brought to you by Ian.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The play area of GTA San Andreas is roughly 17 square miles. That's about 5 times the size of Liberty City, and 4 times the size of Vice City. So yeah. But that's just San Andreas. And then GTA 5 is has all of them in it,
Mm-hmm.
The second fact is canceled Mega Drive 32X game. Ratchet and Bolt boasted a boss character that was 30 screens tall and packed some 33 weapons.
30 screens.
Yeah, 30 screens. That's what it says. So I guess it was a really tall character that you needed to pay
So
him up for, I guess.
So it was like the map you had to climb up and fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the third fact, God's hand to hula hula races featured a dog named McCammy's Head, a reference to the Resi creators' claim that he'd rather lose his head than see Resident Evil 4 converted to PS2. I've never been a Resident Evil fan. What about you, Ben?
I've never I probably know more about Silent Hill than I do Resident Evil, so that says something. But I don't know. It's basically just zombies with something else, right? Something in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Fact 4: the maximum achievable score possible in a game of Pac-Man is 3,333,360 points. So yeah, that's Pac-Man. Were you ever a Pac-Man guy, Ben? What was the classic games that you were really good at?
I was never really good at any classic games. I just played them a lot and got mad at people and yelled.
I used to be pretty decent at Galaga.
I played the Mario and the Duck Hunt, and then later the Sonic.
You see that? I don't know. I guess those are, you could sort of consider them classic, but like Galaga and Pong, those are like really.
Yeah, Galaga and Pong is, yeah. I don't know. I didn't have an Atari. I mean, I played a little bit of like, Pac-Man and Donkey Kong here and there, but yeah. Pac-Man Fever.
Pac-Man.
I did watch the Pac-Man animated series because I watched every animated series of everything. And I gotta say, I was like, am I on acid? Am I on acid? I don't know. What's going on?
Acid.
I mean, it wasn't as big of an acid trip as watching the Alf animated series, but even then.
Alf. Did you ever watch that when they brought that back, Nate?
Mm-mm.
No.
I saw the original Alf series.
I watched the original a little bit, and then I watched the cartoon, because I watched the cartoon version of everything, and after a while you watch it and it's like, they're just saying words. I don't know what any of this relates to anything. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I watched it as an adult, and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, this next fact about Oddworld. Unreleased titles in the Oddworld series include The Hand of Odd, Squeak's Odyssey, and Big Storm. or Sleek Storm, I'm sorry.
Oh, you had one job, Ian.
Did you ever try any of the Oddworld titles?
I played a little bit of Abe's Quest or whatever it was. I don't know. I was never. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Oddworld thing, I have no idea.
Okay, this fact 6. Sega's Space Channel 5 had a lawsuit brought against it by Lady Miss Kyer once. Hold on, sorry, Sword Odyssey, hold on. Once a member of D-Light over similarities between her and lead character Aluya. She lost. That's like...
Okay.
You guys ever played that game?
No, I definitely haven't.
So it's like,
Nope.
It's almost like Dance Dance Revolution, except you've got like laser guns, and there's like dancing people around, and then if you don't shoot them, they get abducted by aliens, because you're supposed to shoot them for some reason. It's really messed up.
Makes sense to me. Murder is better than being abducted and then probed.
Well, no. When you get shot, they like go behind you and then they start dancing with you for some reason.
Oh, so So it's like the what's that one gun in Saints Row? The
dubstep gun.
The dubstep. Wah,
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah,
I still need to get that game, man. It's pretty cheap now too. It's like 20.
It's on sale, yeah. Yeah.
Damn, you get that. Okay, fact 7, the first ever product released by Sony was a rice cooker.
The Sony rice cooker, I remember that.
Oh, you do, huh?
No,
Sounds
absolutely
delicious.
not.
Okay, PS2 robot action game, Armored Core 9 Breaker, has a training mode that features some 150 lessons.
Huh. What do you know about that?
Okay, fact 9, the strangest video game cameo, and that's a question that would have to be Alan Hamid or Alien Hamid in an episode of The Sopranos. That's interesting. Alien
Okay.
Hominid. How do you say it?
Hominid.
Oh, yeah. It's like I said before, I'm not good with reading off weird names like that. That'd be like the hardest part of the job if I was to be a teacher, reading off people's last names, you know?
If
Well,
I
it's
couldn't
alright.
pronounce a kid's names, I would just, I'm like, I'm gonna make up a name and you better write that on the top of your paper, otherwise you're failing.
Yeah.
Well, I knew a kid in high school. He went by Stuart because everyone said he looked like Stuart from Beavis and Butthead. So he'd sign his papers Stuart, so all the teachers had to know him as that. And it was like, "Who's Matt?" He was like, "You mean Stuart?"
Okay, the last fact here is fact 10. Bizarre PS2 RPG, Metal Sega.
Yeah, I've got that game. It's still in the package.
That's crazy. Unreleased in Europe, features an ending sequence you can access from the introductory cutscene. Interesting. Yeah, pretty much all these games I've never even played, you know.
I've played like all of these games.
Well, I mean, Pac-Man I played, of course. Who hasn't played Pac-Man, right?
How about Miss Pac-Man?
Oh, you mean so if Miss Pac-Man is actually just Pac-Man, does that mean Pac-Man's a cross-dresser? Because if you can like go in and like hit a couple of switches and then it's suddenly a Miss Pac-Man, it's not really a Miss Pac-Man, is it?
Well, what is a Pac-Man? I mean, honestly, little pizza that eats ghosts. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. Comfort the widow, Pac-Man.
Okay, hold on, let me find a good trivia thing here for...
Meanwhile, filling up dead air. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
You fill up the...
Well, let's see. Some video game. There's this one game and it's for GameCube, and like one of the bosses, it's really bizarre, but like it'll read things off of your memory card and insult you. Like, oh, I see you've been playing Pikmin. Well, that game sucks. And like you can kill the boss by like leaving the game on for like a week, and then the boss can either starve to death or like you can kill him. I think it was like Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness.
Yeah. It's some game I don't have.
Okay.
You mean there's a game you don't have?
A couple.
Okay. Yeah, I watched this review of this They made this full motion video game that got kickstarted. It was based on this detective who lives in the future, and it's kind of cheesy with these green screen live action scenes. And the guy who reviewed it, he was complaining about the 3D, the CG stuff. Everything looked all dated and whatnot. But he's like, the people that kickstarted this, he's like, that's what they want. They want something that looks cheesy and from like 1998, because that's when the last game for this got made. So.
Yeah. Okay, you guys ready?
Ready.
I suppose.
You suppose. Okay, we'll do this. We can't see until we click the next. I believe when we click next, then it'll show us. Hopefully, I'm hoping. I forget. I mean, I put these links for us to do in future episodes. So, and I know usually you hated it if we can't see the answer right away.
You had one job, Ian.
Okay, this question is, in 2011, the U.S. video game industry recorded total sales of 1.2 billion, 25 billion, or 125 billion. What do you guys think it is?
Probably 25 billion.
Yeah, it's got to be more than 1.2 billion, because didn't they make that off of just GTA by itself? And like the first day or something?
Well, this is 2011, dude. So GTA 5 didn't exist.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but I'm gonna go with the second modest. So not the smallest, but not the biggest.
So you're gonna go with 25 million also? Or
Yes.
billion, I mean. Okay. I'm gonna say that these people that make video games are rich bastards, so I'm gonna go with the highest.
Oh,
you guys won.
so sad.
Yay! Team not Ian wins this round. Next question.
Okay, hold on. Let me put down the scores here. Okay, so I'm just gonna put ones for each point then, and then we'll just add up the ones. Okay, you and Nate got one, and I'm at 0 right now. Okay.
Okay.
Just to make this official. Okay, in the month after the November release, Bethesda Game Studios' new game Skyrim brought in. How much money do you think they brought in? 6.5 million, 65 million, or 650 million?
I'd probably go with the highest because it was Skyrim. It brought in a ton of money.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the highest too. What you going with,
Okay,
Ian?
what am I gonna do? Should I go with the crowd again, like I did with you and Doug?
Come, jump off the cliff with us. Everybody's doing it.
Oh, all the cool kids jump off cranes now, man. What's wrong with you?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh, we're
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad I went with that. You guys are still ahead of me by one.
He's got one and we've got
Yeah.
11. Cause it's,
No, I'm just gonna do.
Oh yeah, I know. It's 11 because it's two ones next to each other.
Yeah. It's just easier to
Oh yeah, I
kind
know.
of for keeping track of it, you know.
That was the joke.
That was the joke. Aw.
Okay. What the heck? Is there...
What's the question, Ian?
Hold on, I'm just looking at it because it looks like it's the same. It says,
Skyrim's money total amounted to
Yeah, the same as the yearly U.S. gross of 2011's most popular film, and you will double this yearly gross of 2011's most popular film. What?
Or the same as the global gross of Avatar, the best-selling movie of all time.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll just say Avatar. I guess myself.
Avatar.
Yeah. Let's all go with Avatar.
Wouldn't that be ironic if it was Avatar?
We were all wrong. It almost doubled the yearly gross of 2011's most popular film.
Oh, I didn't get to say what I wanted. Oh, well. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah. This is asking you to know a lot of stats. It's like, hey, in 2011...
Yeah.
Because, you know, money is the only thing that's important, guys. You know.
No, this is a different question, actually.
If your gross annual income
I was sort of
is
worried
equal
this
to,
was going to be all about money, too.
It's either the ones that are about money or the ones that are about dates. You know, you're like, hey, this film was released in 1987. Okay, shut up. Don't care about dates.
Yeah. Okay, so we're still at the same score. I have 1.
And we have 11.
You and Ben have 2.
11. Got it.
Fine, we'll go with the hard way then.
Yes.
I'll just have 2. Okay. That make you happy.
These amps go up to 11.
Okay. Alan Alcorn is generally credited with creating the first commercially successful video game in 1972, which was
Pong.
No, wait. I'll give him the multiple choice. It's Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, or Pong.
It's Pong.
Yeah. You'd have to be really dumb to... Because, I mean, those video games didn't even come out until, like, the 80s, right? Pac-Man and Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Pac-Man, I forget what year that game came out.
Pac-Man Fever.
70s.
Yeah, like Donkey Kong was originally supposed to be Popeye and Brutus, but they couldn't get the contract through. So then Popeye became Jumpman, and Brutus became a monkey for some reason. Because I guess you can't copyright monkeys.
And then Universal tried to sue them because they claim they own Kong, and yeah.
Okay, so to recap on the score, I have 2, and you guys each have 3. Okay, how many Americans play video games at least 40 hours a week? 500,000, 5 million, or 50 million?
$5 million?
I'm going to go with
50
the middle.
million, we're kind of in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the middle number.
Yeah.
If it's wait, before you click the next answer, if it's 50 million, you should buy some more Baja Blast to sell to those people.
I'm not. I'd like to either do the middle or have some faith in our country and go with the first one. But
40 hours a week is like a job, so...
That's right, so it's probably like 5 million, unfortunately. You gotta think of all the people not working.
I'll do the middle one. I'm probably going to lose a point, but I'd like to have some faith. So I'm going to click that one and see if I was right or wrong. You guys were right. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
I try to see the best in people. Oh, well. Oh, no. So I still have 2. You guys have 4. Damn, I gotta catch up, man. Yeah, well, at least it wasn't 50 million,
Winning.
like you said.
Tiger blood.
Tiger blood. Okay, what percentage of American kids aged 12 to 17 play video games? 50%, 75%, or 97%? That'd be pretty bad.
I'm probably gonna go with 75%.
I'll say 50.
Yeah, I'll go with 75.
Okay, maybe I'll go with 75. Because, I mean, it is pretty popular playing video games with kids.
Games are a pretty common thing. If you're 12 to 17, I believe they played games to some extent.
Especially in this day and age of it being available to everybody pretty much, you know. But
I mean, even if you don't have it, you played it at a friend's house, so...
yeah. Oh,
What was it?
Okay, go buy some more Baja Blast. It's 97%.
yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, you know, was it like 3/4 of Americans have Netflix now? So why not? Why shouldn't there be 95%, 97% of kids playing games?
A study shows it's no more damaging than a Bugs Bunny cartoon. This comment about the effect of violent video games on players came from Entertainment Software Association President Michael. How do you say that?
Gallagher.
Yeah. Academic researcher Douglas Gentila. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Tom Mayer.
I've got to say, this is the crappiest video game trivia quiz ever.
Well,
Like,
then
let's
you
see
haven't
what you
listened
know
to some
about
of the
video
previous
games, like-
quizzes.
Yeah. Alright.
I'm gonna go with the first guy.
Yeah, first guy. I like his last name. Gallagher. Like Mary Catherine Gallagher from, from Saturday Night Live?
Or like that guy that would smash the watermelons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that too.
Oh.
That was the Supreme Court Justice.
Which one was it?
The Supreme Court Justice.
No, which Supreme Court Justice? Antonin Scalia?
Sonia Sotomayor.
Well,
Sotomayor.
she's such a recent justice, though. It's like, how am I supposed to know that quote?
Yeah.
It's not like pubes on the Coke can guy, or, you know.
Yeah. I could try going to a different trivia for the last 3 questions if you guys want.
We might as well finish
No.
it, unfortunately.
Let's finish this.
Finish it.
Finish him. Mortal Kombat.
Okay. A controversial congressional bill to protect intellectual property, which divided the video game industry, went by the acronym SOPA Cosa Nostra. And Cosa
Say that
Nostra
3
is
times fast.
one
Sopa,
word or
Sopa,
phrase.
Sosa, Cosa, Nostra.
What?
Say that 3 times fast. Sopa, Sosa, Cosa Nostra. Sopa, Sosa, Cosa. Darn it.
Yeah.
Doobity doobity doo.
Yeah, Cosa Nostra is one choice, by the way. So that's C. Well, SOPA, that was about.
SOPA was net neutrality,
Pirate.
wasn't it?
Well, I thought that
Oh, it
was
was.
more about
Might have been
like,
piracy.
Piracy.
Might have been piracy. Yeah, I think that was piracy because the net neutrality thing was after. So yeah, I'm gonna go with SOPA.
You're gonna go with SOPA?
SOPA on Europa. Intellectual property.
Really, I don't remember it dividing the video game industry though.
I don't want to pick Cosa Nostra, because that's like, why make an acronym if it's gonna be that long?
Yeah. Cosa Nostra.
I work for Cosa Nostra. Yeah. Is that a real thing, or are you just not employed?
Yeah, I work at Stand Lean against the wall.
Okay, are we all gonna go with SOPA then?
It's the only one we all know. I don't think any of us know the other one. If the other one's real, we don't know.
Nostra though, because that'll be great.
Oh no, because that's a line from a. I know that as a line from a Cherry Poppin' Daddy song. He's Cosa Nostra. So it's like an Italian word. I don't know what it means though.
And it looks like we got it right. It stands for the Stop Online Piracy Act.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Okay, so I got 3 and you 2 got 5. You guys are gonna have to keep going until someone gets to higher score.
Or we're just gonna have to go out back and knife fight. So.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, hey, I got a face for radio, so I don't mind. Bring it on. Snick.
You got a face for radio.
Yeah.
Well,
I ain't worried about not being pretty no more.
Are they kidding? This one's... Okay. I think we know what this one is.
Okay, well, I have 3 and you 2 have 5, like I said. This is question 9, so I could catch up, but the best
This could be the comeback.
Tie you. Well, I would have to tie you guys, and then we'd have to keep going to lightning rounds. So I can't get any wrong. MMO stand for... What do they stand for? I'm not even going to read the things.
Massively multiplayer online.
Multiplayer online game.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a freebie.
Yeah. I was going with that one also, so...
Free point.
Okay,
Free
so
space!
I have 4 and you guys have 6. Technically, I've already lost because I wouldn't be able to catch up. Because, well, since you guys are going, I'd be 3rd place then, you know, or whatever the last place would be. But question 10: video games can never be art. The author of this controversial statement was U.S. Senator Joe Lieberman, film critic Roger Ebert, conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh. Video games are definitely art, man. Do you remember who said that, Ben?
Yes.
And who was
But
it?
I want to hear which one you guys go for.
I'm going to say a film critic said it.
So you think it's Roger Ebert?
Yeah, even though I'm probably wrong.
Hold on, let me see what I'd say. I'd say the senator said that.
Well, I can tell you guys right now it was Ebert.
Well, why did you do did you have a whole speech on that or something?
No, I was following him on Twitter when he said it. So.
I will have stick with that. Yeah, you guys were right then. So, you guys have... I had 4 and you guys had 7. So you guys are still going.
Still going strong!
Yeah. Until somebody gets a higher point.
Fatality.
Yeah.
Fatality. Toasty.
This one is over. But I keep entertaining. Entertain, Ben.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Early my heart's on fire. Anyway. If I do too much of that, it might be a copyright infringement, then they might sue me.
Yeah.
Then I don't need a drone
like
showing
3
up.
minutes of a clip before you're stealing it or something.
Oh, it's probably less than that. It's probably like 30 seconds, because then the Hangouts have a thing that flashes, like, yo, you gotta stop this or we'll cut it off, so... Cut the feed! Cut his feed! Cut his mic off!
Pull the plug!
Yeah. Well, what's your opinion, though, on that? I'm surprised somebody could say that video game isn't art.
They need to play the game Ukami.
I think it's a stupid thing to say. It just shows that he didn't have any respect for it, and yeah, a lot of people responded to him, and you know, he agreed to disagree with him, but it's like, well, he also said a lot of things. So I liked Roger Ebert, but you know, like any human being, he had opinions that differed from my own. I mean, the Cinema Snob got his career going based on a quote Roger Ebert said about I think it might have been a Jason movie. Yeah, he's like he couldn't wrap his mind around a slasher film, and he's like, it's not for you, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to get to ask these questions because I was going to go to this. I think the other trivia that I had, some of them had it already had an answer next to the question. So since we're trying to participate on this quiz, that would be unfair to you, Ben. So I'm going through this one that we already did. It was like 15 questions, but we only did 10 of them last week with Doug's. So I'm trying to skip past the ones that we did because we've already had the answers for those, even though you probably don't remember them.
That's alright. You don't have a wrestling belt to hold in my face either, so...
Yeah, the wrestling belt.
Although we do kind of need to wrap the show up fairly soon, because, remember, they only let you go 4 hours.
Yeah, we got pretty close last week, too, man.
Yeah, well...
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to move to the... Question 11.
So after 4 hours, do they pull your plug?
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Okay. Okay, so what was the highest selling video game of all time? Do you want me to read off the answers, or do you want to try to take a guess without multiple choice?
Give me the options.
Okay. Grand Theft Auto, Super Mario Brothers, Miss Pac-Man, Wii Sports. I'm just gonna say Grand Theft Auto.
Yep,
Grand Theft Auto. Turns out it's Miss Pac-Man, and we're all screwed.
What I say.
It shouldn't matter, man.
Winners. What?
Shouldn't matter what we say.
Well, it doesn't matter because you guys have either.
We are the champions, fighting copyright, my friends.
Yeah. It was what? What?
that's not true. Because you didn't pay for Wii Sports.
I've heard about that argument that, like, when Nintendo was like, oh, it's the biggest selling, like, well, it was pre-packaged, so it's like saying Duck Hunt, you know, it's like, eh. I think I'd heard about that before. Like, that's a contested issue.
What did you want to read? What it says? It's sort of small.
The Nintendo Wii's gaming system was one of the first to feature motion control play. That's not true. It's NES. They had the Power Glove. And was a gigantic hit when it was released during the 2006 holiday season. Wii Sports, which let players play sports such as tennis, baseball, and golf by swinging their remote controls, was bundled with the Wiimote console. It has sold nearly 83 million copies, even though it didn't sell any because they bought a Wii and it came with it. It'd be like if they gave you a horse with the Wii, and they're like, well, this horse has sold more horses than any other horse. It's like, but you gave it to me. So I technically didn't buy it.
Moving along.
Okay, over his prolific video game career, saving a damsel in distress may constantly preoccupy. How do you say that? The
Diminutive.
Diminutive hero Mario, but his day job is. Oh, I mean, you guys don't need the multiple choice for that, do you?
Well, in the cartoon, he was a plumber. But then there's the porno with Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
Super Hornio Brothers. And he was Squeegee Hornio.
And so you guys each had.
Do the Mario! Take! Go! No! Okay,
so you guys had 8. Now, you guys were both right. Video games have been fertile ground for Hollywood. The highest grossing film based on a video game is, I guess this should be interesting, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat, Super Mario Brothers, Final Fantasy.
First one.
You say the first
yeah,
one?
Lara Croft. Because they made 3 of those. You didn't see no 3. You didn't see no 3 Super Mario. Well, okay, they made 2.
The Final Fantasy one was actually kind of funny because they have like hidden extras in it. Like they have like them doing like a Michael Jackson Thriller video.
Yeah.
Woo!
I don't know. I would maybe think Mortal Kombat because there's so many fans of it.
There's fans of it, but it... Well, I mean, it did get a sequel, but it had none of the original cast. If it made that much money, you know they'd be back for it. And I think the sequel's direct-to-DVD or something, so... Direct-to-video,
Yeah.
so...
Well, that's what I would say, but...
Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, it was... You both were right. Which doesn't help progress the
Show.
at all.
Dun 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 dun.
Nintendo, the world's largest video game company, owns which Major League Baseball team? Los Angeles Angels, Seattle Mariners, Chicago White Sox, San Francisco Giants.
Huh.
I feel like if either one of us gets this right, this will be the winner here. So,
Yeah.
because I don't think either of us know. What are the options again?
Los Angeles Angels? I don't know.
The Los Angeles Angels, the Seattle Mariners, the Chicago White Sox, or the San Francisco Giants. I mean, if it was me guessing, I might say the White Sox maybe, but
That's what my first thought was, but like, I don't know.
I'm thinking
like,
either the Mariners or the White Sox because it's like L.A. The L.A. sounds a little too obvious. Like that sounds like somebody you would know. Would know it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go Mariners.
Okay, good. At least you guys are doing something different each, so one of you guys could be right, one of you guys could be wrong. I'll do Ben's. Let's see. You guys want to do any money?
No.
Got any money here?
Got any money?
We'll bet some Baja Blast. How about that?
all right,
Nah.
as long as it's not mine.
We'll bet our small can for your giant can, Ben.
How about if I was there, I'd take all your cans and run. Woo! Take my blast and run. Just
Well,
be
that's
chugging
okay,
them on
'cause
the road. I don't know. Can you
I bought
picture
the
some guy
headband.
running down the street, just chugging cans of Baja Blast, spilling it all over his face? Ah, you'll never catch me. Glug 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 glug.
Yeah. That's okay because I also bought. They had some kind of orange cherry citrus game fuel there too. So it tastes okay, I guess. But I've got my finger on I clicked the next button, so I'm gonna take it off. We'll see who wins and who loses.
Yeah, take it off, Ian. Wait, that didn't sound right at all, did it?
Mariners.
The Mariners is.
I am the champion. My friends, boom, 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 and I'll keep on fighting through the quiz.
Why would Nintendo buy a baseball team?
Well, why were they famous for card games before video games? I mean, just whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge sports fan, so I would have lost it definitely. You know. But yeah, you like I said last week, Ben. You're the winner, but you're the loser because you're the nerdiest.
I'm also the loser because I took 2 quizzes on video games. Sat through. Oh, man.
Hey, we did that comic book one, too.
Oh, well, that makes it all better. So.
I'm sure you had your choice. You'd mostly do the comic book ones, wouldn't you?
Well, I probably know more about comic books than video games, but I don't know. Maybe. It depends on how general the thing was. I'm a very casual comic book and video game kind of guy.
Right.
I saw a comic book thing that I never thought I'd see. It was a supervillain, and it was Lady Stiltman.
So it was Stilt Woman.
No, it was Lady Stilt. Yeah. Sorry. Lady Stiltman.
Would you like to phrase that answer in the form of a question?
It's messed up.
Well, hey, if you want to be generous, did you want to just... There was only 2 questions technically left on the quiz. It was 14 of 16. Are you guys curious to see if anybody would have done anything?
Sure. Let's hear them.
Sure.
Okay, well, in 2012, Americans spent how much money on video games?
Too much?
Too much.
5 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion, or 20 billion?
Go with 15.
That's hard because that's not a huge... It's not...
That's not that big of a
those are close
difference.
together. Yeah.
I'd go with 20.
You would go with 20?
Yeah.
Well, you guys... Well, I remember that other question. That was... How does... Well, it said the video game industry or whatever made like 25, so I don't know how that's... Any of those are right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, you gotta factor in profits, and I don't know. I don't know, man. They didn't say Skyrim doubled what the previous year was in movies, or I don't know. I can't.
Okay, well, yeah, you guys, we were all right.
We were all right. They spent all too much money.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. More than half of all parents play video games with their children at least once a month. True or false?
True.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, I mean, usually they play, they sort of interact with them, you know.
Well, if 97% of kids are playing video games, I imagine like at least some of them had to be playing them with their parents once in a while.
If they count Facebook games, then it's true.
Well, I find it interesting because, I mean, my dad, he loves playing video games, and, you know, in this day and age with just the technology of video games and stuff, and it being more available, you're probably going to see a lot more people that, like, our generation and beyond are probably going to be more into video games their whole life and just generally be into technology their whole life.
We talked about, like, you know, when we're in, like, you know, in the retirement homes, there's going to be, like, Call of Duty and LAN parties and stuff, and it's like, it's going to be weird.
Yeah, but, like, how are my hands going to work then? I better have robot hands by then.
Well, hey, some senior centers have Wii's in them, you know.
Yeah, because Wii bowling and stuff, it helps them.
Active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, also, if you make it to be a dude in a retirement home, you're getting all the babes because there's like mostly women and not many dudes make it to the retirement home age. So at least that's what I hear. It's dudes cleaning up.
Yeah.
So.
And we were all correct. It was true.
Hooray!
So Ben's still the winner.
Yep.
I'm always the winner. You should know this.
Yeah.
Now don't forget to link me to those quiz questions so I can put them in the show notes so people can play at home and realize, man, these questions are some of these are easy and then some are what?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good. I think generally people aren't that great at like statistics of things. You know, it is harder.
Well, like especially when it's like that one that was like compare it to the movie gross, income. It's like even if you know how much money they made that year, how would you compare it to the gross income of movies?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
That's just.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Was there anything anybody want to say about anything? Of any?
Is there anybody out there?
Did you have anything to plug, Nate?
Nah.
Do you have a website or a Facebook or Twitter or something?
I deactivated my Facebook recently.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably have to reactivate it if they ever launch those satellites in space and I have to go to some cafe or something where I want Wi-Fi or I'm on a deserted island or something.
So there's.
I had to.
Go ahead.
I had to recently republish my Facebook page again. I don't know how it was unpublished again. It's like every week an episode from the show goes up there. So.
Yeah. So Nate, there's nothing that you can, any way anybody can reach you, like at least an email or something. Like if there's a bunch of chicks that listen to this podcast and what they all want you,
Send all your questions to Ian and he'll train.
675-309.
What?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then Stacy's mom answers. It was her all along. So, well, I guess that's going to do it for this week.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Is there anything you want to say to wrap it up, guys?
I'll link you, Ben, if he has anything else to add. I'll email you or whatever. But, yeah, I guess that's it. I guess we can wrap up then, Ben.
Alright. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, yeah, you still talk to us.
Okay.
To find out more, visit NoRightsProductions.com. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NoRights. And hey, why don't you check out my Tumblr at NoRights.tumblr.com.